Mr. Jordan, can you hear me all right?
Your volume is a little low. Can you hear me, Jay?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Hi, good morning, Ms.
Judge
Mitchell.
Long.
Greenhouse.
It's been a while. I don't know if you remember me,
Of
but
course I remember you.
I'm here temporarily. If I'm rusty, you know why. I do family call now.
Oh, that's
Good
quite all
morning.
right. But
Yeah.
good to see you again. Thank you. Happy post-Christmas. So
Thank you, you too.
I appreciate everyone being here on the 26th, including Ms. Champion and Mr. Jordan. Stalwart warriors. That's what I'm calling them. All right. And Miss Milton. Good morning. Happy post-Christmas.
Merry
Yes.
Christmas to everybody. Um, we are getting people, and Attorney Kim has to finish interviewing her people.
Yeah.
So as soon as she's finished, we will get back on the Zoom.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Jordan or Miss Champion, what's the status with our Spanish interpreter?
We're checking on that now, Your Honor.
Okay. Mm. Any luck with our appointments with Dennis Murphy, Ms. Zakaya, Watson Cafe? Yeah.
Uh,
One each.
Mr. Murphy, we did send an email out to him. We didn't get a response. Miss Zakaya Cafe, she stated that she can be on the 7th calendar, so we're going to reset her cases to the 7th.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll be in a brief recess until one of the jail facility locations appears, and we'll begin with our SAP. All right. Ms. Greenhouse, did you have a good Christmas?
Good morning, Judge Law. Thank you. Well, I'm actually celebrating Hanukkah, but yes, it's been.
I'm sorry, Hanukkah.
Oh, that's okay. But yesterday was a very nice day. It always is every year. And just so happens this year, Hanukkah and Christmas Hanukkah started on Christmas Day, which is always kind of special when that
So
happens.
that means you're still getting gifts, right?
That's right. That's
All right.
exactly right. Yeah.
Rub it in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
All right. We'll be resuming very shortly. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge Law. Quorum 2 is ready.
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you. All right, welcome back from Christmas. Who's in the quorum? Is that Mr. White?
It is, Judge.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Law, and we are going to begin with our state all-purpose calendar. This is a list of misdemeanor cases filed with the State Court of Fulton County. The individuals who have been formally accused with one or more misdemeanor offenses. Today, we're going to get the status of their cases. In other words, whether the defendant would like to consider a recommended sentence from the prosecutor and consider entering a plea, or whether the defendant would like to exercise his or her right to a trial and enter a not guilty plea. Other matters that we will probably be addressing are bond modifications, domestic violence bench warrants that have been issued previously, as well as a compliance calendar. If you are a defendant accused of one or more misdemeanor offenses, please remember the following. You have a right to remain silent. Anything that you choose to say in open court, the statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Courtroom 2, who should we begin with?
We can start with position number 7, Mr. Brandon Clemens.
All right, Brendan Clemens. Good morning, Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod, is there anyone that you need to speak with?
Yes, Your Honor. I need to speak with Cortez Ragland.
Quorum 2, is Cortez Ragland in the courtroom?
No, but
Oh.
we do have Hunter, Travius Hunter. Ms. McLeod.
Ms. McLeod, Travius Hunter?
He's there? Okay, I can speak with them.
All right, if it's possible for you to call the jail, courtroom 2, maybe
Okay,
I want to confer.
we'll call you, Ms. McLeod.
Okay,
Okay, that would be fine.
all right. This is State versus Brendan Clemens, case number 24 CR 8163G, position number 7 on our calendar this morning. Mr. Clemens, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney, Tom White. Mr. White, are we still proceeding with the plea?
We are, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Clemens, please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? You need to say yes or no.
Yes,
Speak up,
ma'am.
please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. As to count 1 and count 3, it will be time served, credit for time served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. And as to count 2, it'll be no pros.
Mhm.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Oh, dear. Right. So it's 30 days credit for time served, 15 days. Okay. Mr. White, are these the terms, and do you stipulate to factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes and yes, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Clemens, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And have it been explained to you that if you accept this plea, you would give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You will not be able to go back to court to challenge these charges in a court of law, to be able to present your own defenses and arguments, confront your accuser, and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of racing and 1 count of exhaust system violation?
Yes, ma'am. How do you? Guilty.
For the racing and the exhaust system violation, your sentence is going to be to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. Driving without a valid license is dismissed by the state, and that concludes your case. You should be released within 24 hours unless you have any other cases holding you at the jail. Thank you.
1 second, please, Judge. I just want to go home, so I'll do the 30 hours. Okay. Judge, I've got on the calendar, this position 7, correct?
I'm so
Brandon?
sorry, I'm reading off the wrong one. Sorry, that was my bad. I've got 2 calendars open on the window. It's, he's pled guilty to pedestrian and roadway and giving false name or birth date to a law enforcement officer. The misdemeanor possession of marijuana is dismissed.
All right, just want to make sure.
No, thank you. This is post-Christmas fatigue, so I do apologize. Thank you. All right. Putting that second calendar away. All right, thank you.
You can have a seat in the back.
Okay, so you do it, you want to show me how to do my stuff right for the hours.
Next, we could go to position number 44, Mr. Dustin Whitener.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
44. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure I've got this. Mr. Dustin Whitener is accused of battery, and this is case 24 CR 8138D. Mr. Whitener, you've been advised to be a right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. White. Ms. Desiano, good morning. And Mr. Whitener, this is going to be a plea, Mr. White?
Judge, this is not my case. It's not right.
Oh.
It's either Ms. Kim's or a
Kim.
it's Ms. Kim's.
Let me check the Dustin Whitener is just, yep, it's Ms. Kim's case, sorry. Ms. Kim, are you available? I know she was talking just now.
We could go to another case.
Okay,
We could go to position number 18 and 19, Marcus Johnson.
No, at gmail.com, I'm sorry.
18 and 19 are Mr. White's, and that's going to be a plea.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, my name is Judge Law. This is 2 cases involving you, including a bench warrant. You have been advised to be a right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. White. 24 CR 4414Y, Mr. Johnson is accused of battery, family violence. The second case is 24 FTA 1959, a bench warrant from September 4th and October 22nd, 2024. This is going to be a plea hearing. Ms. Johnson, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is this Ms. Mitchell? Ms. Mitchell, this is your case?
303.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what position are we?
18 and 19,
Oh.
Marcus Johnson.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Okay.
So yes, Your Honor, as to position 18, count 1, it's gonna be 12 months served, 32 days, credit for time served, 16 days. Well, I believe now it's 18 days. And no further violent contact with Shanita, spelled SHUNITA Johnson. Stay away from address 1325 Virginia Avenue, East Point, Georgia. FIP 40 hours community service and no firearms. Nothing further done. As to count 19, this will be also a plea upon position 18.
All right.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Position 19 will be null pros
Correct.
on the plea? Okay, got it. Thank you. Mr. White, again, do we stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do, Judge.
All right. Mr. Johnson, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
I do.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
I am.
And are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty to battery, family violence, you understand that any subsequent arrest for a same offense will be a felony charge.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So if you decide to plead guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your right to a trial. You will not get the chance to go back to court to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be brought against you, to be able to present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
How do you plead to one count of battery family violence?
Guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 18 days. The remainder of the time will be on probation. If you have no other holds, then you will report to probation. Ms. Thomas, are you open on Monday?
Your Honor, he has a couple holds actually. One for Riverdale and one for Clayton County, so.
Okay. Let me just get a confirmation. Ms. Thomas, are we open next week on Monday?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you are. I was trying to get my mute button to start, but yes, we open
Okay, thank you.
on the 31st too.
All right. So meantime, Mr. Johnson, with regards to probation, so you have a couple of holds to address. Once you have been picked up by either Clayton or the other jurisdiction, and you have resolved your holds, then you must report to Fulton County Probation within 48 hours on the first business day. They're open on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So whichever is the first business day within 48 hours of your release, you must report to Fulton County Probation. While you're on probation, you will have no violent contact with Shanita Johnson. You can have communication with Shanita Johnson, but it cannot be physical and verbal altercations. Otherwise, you'll be in violation of your probation and your probation can be revoked. You are to stay away from 1325 Virginia Avenue and East Point. You cannot return to that location. Within 30 days of reporting to Fulton County Probation, you will enroll and begin on a domestic violence intervention program. This is a 26-week program, and you will attend all classes without skipping any of them, and you will pay for those classes out of your own pocket. You will also complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. You will do the community service at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month. At all times, you're not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms near you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And the bench warrant is dismissed.
Next, we can go to position number 10, Mr. Jack Dorsey.
Davis. Yeah, Colin Davis. He was on there.
Jack Dorsey is accused of battery family violence from December 13th, 2024, case number 24CR8142G. Mr. Dorsey, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Mr. White. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor, in this case, as to count one, the state's recommendation is going to be 12 months served, 32 days, credit for time served, 16 days, balance probated. No further contact with Mignon, spelled Minyone, Patterson. Stay away from 970 Sidney Marcus Boulevard. FFIP, 40 hours community service, and no firearms. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. White, do we so stipulate?
Stipulate, for the purposes of the plea, Judge.
Mr. Dorsey, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case? I can't hear you, sir.
Yes.
And have you understood, are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes.
Has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty to this charge, that any subsequent arrest for a same or similar offense will be a felony charge?
Yes.
Are you still willing to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
You would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be brought before you in a court of law, to be able to present your arguments and defenses with the assistance of counsel, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
Repeat.
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of battery family violence?
Guilty.
Repeat.
Guilty.
Your sentence will be 12 months to serve 32 days, credit for time served 16 days. Any holds, Mr. White?
Judge, I do not believe so.
All right, in that case, he will report to probation on Monday, December 30th, before 3 p.m. Probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street. While on probation, he will stay away from 970 Sidney Marcus Boulevard and have no contact with Mignon Patterson. He's to stay 200 yards away from Mignon Patterson and not communicate with this person in any way, form, or manner. Within 30 days of reporting to probation, he will enroll in a domestic violence intervention program at his expense and begin the 26 weeks of classes without skipping any of them at his own expense. He will also begin 40 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that is not a church and not a school. He will complete community service at a minimum of 5 hours per month. At all times, he's not allowed to own or possess or have any firearms around him. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You got to read that. We could go to Ms. McLeod's client, position 17, Mr. Hunter.
Ms. McLeod, how are we proceeding with Mr. Hunter?
This is going to be a negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. McLeod. This is Contravious Hunter, accused of willful obstruction of an officer from December 7th, 2024. Mr. Hunter, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Maureen McLeod. May I place you under oath for the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is going to be 12 months, serve 40 days, credit for time served 20 days, balance probated, a $300 fine, or 30 hours community service, and termination upon completion. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. McLeod, which option has your client decided to go with?
For 40 hours of community service, Your Honor.
All right. And do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, we stipulate.
Mr. Hunter, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes.
Has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty to willful obstruction of an officer, you will be giving up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You and Ms. McLeod will not have the opportunity to go back to court. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
I can't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to one count of willful obstruction?
30 hours of community service.
How do you plead?
Oh, not, guilty. Guilty, Ms. Law.
Thank you. Your sentence is
That's all.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 40 days, credit for time served 20 days. If you have no holds at the Fulton County Jail, you'll be released within 24 hours. Today is Thursday. On Monday, December 30th, you will report to Fulton County Probation, Monday, December 30th, before 3 p.m. Probation is located. Hey. Your attorney is Ms. McLeod. That's Mr. White. He's not your attorney.
Yeah, he was just saying he will not be being released. He has a felony.
He has a hold?
Felony.
Yes,
All right.
Your Honor.
In that case, then you will report to probation within 48 hours of being released from your hold. Probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. Once released, do not forget to report to probation because you have to complete 30 hours of voluntary community service. You can do the community service at any nonprofit agency that is not a church and not a school. Once you've completed all 30 hours, your probation will terminate upon completion. Please remember to complete at least a minimum of 5 hours per month. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, Ms. McLeod, you still have one other case, right? Or a couple more?
Yes, Your Honor. My name is still linked with Mr. Coleman, but he did indicate last time he was on
Well, hopefully
that
he'll be here.
he wished to represent himself.
Oh, was that the only case that you had? You have
Well,
another
that
one, right?
I have
Cortez
Mr.
something?
Ragland. I have Mr. Ragland, Your Honor. My name is also connected to Mr. Coleman, but he
Oh,
did
yeah, I remember Coleman.
indicate that he wished to represent himself the last time we were on.
No
So I
problem.
just wanted
Did
to
I already-
remind the court of that.
Did I already sign the withdrawal order or?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll submit one.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes,
Next
Your Honor.
case, courtroom 2.
We go to position number 12 and 13, Mr. Gordon.
All right. What's the status with Miss Kim? She's still in conference?
Good morning, Judge. We have Ms. Kim. She's still talking to interviewing her clients over here at ACDC.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is positions number 12 and 13 on the SAP calendar. We have Kyle Christopher Gordon. Mr. Gordon, you have 2 cases with us, 24 CR 8099C, accused of driving while license suspended and failure to obey a stop sign. Were those the only 2 charges in that? Yeah. And then your second case is 24 CR 8124C, and this has 5 separate misdemeanor offenses. They begin with driving under the influence of alcohol, reckless driving, speeding, possession of open alcohol container, and failure to have license on person from December 10th, 2024. With regards to both cases, you have the right to remain silent as advised, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Tom White. I understand this is going to be a negotiated plea. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Gordon, please raise your hand for the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Gotcha. Ms. Mitchell, this is a global offer for both cases. What is it?
Well, Your Honor, it's not necessarily global, will be the same, but for position 12, as to count 1, it's going to be 12 months served, 34 days, credit for time served, 17 days, no driving without a valid license, and a $1,000 fine. Count 2 will be time served. As to position 13, for the DUI, count 1, it'll be 12 months served, 34 days, credit for time served, 17 days, balance probated to run concurrent with position 12. At ADT, risk reduction course, $1,000 fine, 240 hours community service. Count 2 will, for the reckless driving, it'll be 12 months probation, again, concurrent with count 1. And then count 3, 4, and 5 will be time served. Nothing further, Your Honor.
And the time served is 34, credit for time served 17 days?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. White, are these the dates and the timing that you all have established?
That's correct, Judge. That's what we negotiated.
All right, and you all stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for both cases?
We do.
All right. Mr. Gordon, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Oh, no.
All right,
No,
we'll
ma'am.
need to speak up because our court reporter, Susan Greenhouse, needs to record everything you say.
Ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in both cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Ma'am.
Are you entering a plea to both these cases freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that upon the entry of this plea, if your license was previously suspended, it will continue to be suspended.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure you understand that your license will not be reinstated for some time.
Judge, he indicated yes, and we discussed this when we negotiate, when we were talking about whether or not
And
he would.
he's
off.
not eligible for a limited permit. He needs to understand that.
Judge,
All right. As long as he understands that he will not be getting a valid driver's license and that he's not allowed to drive while he's on probation. No driving. And one other thing I'm going to add is random screens by probation. He needs to be randomly screened for alcohol.
Judge, I'll need a minute to discuss that with him.
Go ahead. Mute your screen, please.
Judge, he'll accept that.
Yes, was that a yes, he'll accept it?
He was, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Gordon, has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty to these charges in both cases, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial? You will not get the opportunity to go back to court, to confront your accuser, have the assistance of counsel to be able to present your arguments, defenses, and any mitigating factors so as to challenge the evidence presented against you, and also to have the prosecution carry her burden to prove all the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights? Do you also understand that once I impose my sentence, this will be the final ruling and there's no right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of driving while license suspended or revoked and failure to obey a stop sign from November 26, 2024?
Guilty.
Was that a question or were you making a statement?
Said it twice, Judge. Guilty.
All right. I'm sorry, there's a time lag with the Wi-Fi, so I can see his mouth move, but then the sound comes later, like really bad television set. Okay. Moving on position number 13, you've got the following charges: driving under the influence of alcohol, reckless driving, speeding, possession of an open alcohol container, and failure to have license on person. How do you plead to these 5 charges?
Guilty.
On position 12, your sentence is 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days. Balance probated, no driving without a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration, and a $1,000 fine. Count 2, failure to obey a stop sign. The sentence is time served. That is, served 34 days, credit for time served 17 days. Position 13 on the DUI is 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days, concurrent with balance probated and concurrent with position number 12. While you are on probation, you will complete an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. And that will be done within 30 days of being released. You will also complete a risk reduction program, and you must complete that within 90 days of being released. You will pay an additional $1,000 fine. So in total, your fine is $2,000. You will pay those fines at a rate of $200 per month, minimum $200 per month. You will also complete 240 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. You will complete the community service at a minimum rate of 25 hours per month. On the reckless driving, it will be 12 months probation concurrent with the DUI charge. On the speeding, possession of an open alcohol container and failure to have license on person, it will be time served. That is to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days. While you're on probation, you'll be subject to a random screen for alcohol, which means that in addition to no driving while on probation, you will also not consume any alcoholic beverages, and probation will administer the random screens. If you fail a screen and you test positive for alcohol, your probation will be revoked and you will complete the remainder of your time in prison. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
We could go to our
Did she say-
position, ACDC.
I'm gonna go next. This is gonna be position number 1. Ms. Allen.
This is state.
Good morning. This will be a negotiated plea.
All right, thank you. This is an announcement for everyone at ACDC, including Ms. Allen. Good morning, my name is Judge Lal. We're going to be addressing each of your cases to get the status of where your case stands today. Please remember, while we are addressing each of your cases, you have a right to remain silent about the facts and circumstances of your case. If you choose to say anything during this virtual proceeding that's not only being recorded by live stream, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. In your case, Ms. Allen, you'll be represented by Ms. Kim, and the charges in your case, 24 CR 8070C, you are accused of terroristic threats and acts, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and simple battery against a police officer. This is going to be a negotiated plea. May I place you under oath? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, is this Ms. Mitchell? Yes, it's still Ms.
Yes.
Mitchell's cases. Yes.
Yes,
ahead.
Your Honor, the state's recommendation as to count 1 is going to be 12 months served, 36 days, credit for time served, 18 days, balance probated, 8-week anger management, 40 hours community service, no firearms. As to count 2, it's going to be 12 months probation, concurrent with count 1, $300 fine or 30 hours community service. Count 3 will be 12 months probation, credit concurrent with count 1. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Kim, do you stipulate to the factual basis of venue and ID?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
And which option has your client decided to do, the fine or the 30 hours?
30 hours of community service.
All right. Ms. Allen, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
Medicine, yes,
And after consuming the medicine, are you still able to understand what's going on with your case?
yes,
Have you, are you satisfied with your legal services?
yes,
And has your attorney explained to you that if you decide to enter this plea, you will be giving up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury?
yes,
You will not get the opportunity to go back to court to confront your accusers, challenge the evidence brought against you, be able to present your defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of terroristic threats and acts, willful obstruction of an officer, and simple battery against an officer?
Guilty.
For count 1, your sentence is 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 18 days. If you have no other cases holding you at the jail, you will report to probation on Monday, December 30th, before 3 p.m. Probation is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will complete 8 anger management classes. You will enroll in those classes within 45 days of being released. You will attend all 8 weekly classes without skipping them and pay for them out of your own pocket. You will also complete 40 hours of community service with any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. And you must complete the community service at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month. At all times, you're not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms near you. On the willful obstruction, it's going to be 12 months concurrent with count 1, and you'll be required to do an additional 30 hours of community service. Again, not at any church and any school, and a minimum of, so that means your community service adds up to 70 hours. So I'm going to require you to do a minimum of 10 hours per month so that you can complete your 70 hours within the allotted time. On count 3, Your sentence is 12 months concurrent with count 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we can go to position number 8, Mr. Coleman.
This is Aaron Coleman. Did we appoint conflict counsel to represent him?
I'm representing myself.
Oh, is this the one? Okay.
Your Honor, it looks like he is position 8 on the SAP calendar, and I just received the add-on calendar. It looks like he's also position 1 on the calendar for the add-on, but the plea recommendation for both cases is on the main calendar.
Got it. Thank you. All right. Aaron Coleman has 2 separate cases before the court today. The first one on position 8 on the main SAP calendar is 24 CR 008035B. Mr. Coleman is accused of simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or who is pregnant at the time of the offense from December 6, 2024. He has a second case. Incident date appears to be December 5th, 2024. Case number 24 CR 008019B. And he's accused of battery and willful obstruction of an officer. Mr. Coleman, you have been advised of your right to remain silent. Just to reiterate, anything that you say about the facts or circumstances of these 2 cases, your statements can and will be used against you in the prosecution of these cases. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one would be appointed to represent you. If you choose to waive your right to counsel and you choose to represent yourself, then you also have the option of hiring your own attorney. But if you choose to represent yourself, as I've already indicated to you before, you are responsible for doing the research and understanding how the criminal laws, rules, and procedures apply to the specific facts of your case. You are responsible for any legal decision you make, as well as the consequences and ramifications upon your personal freedom, as well as other aspects of your life, including your ability to get a job, the impact it may have on any other open cases, which we are not addressing today, if you have any, and also the possibility of the court considering the circumstances and disregarding the plea and having this case proceed to trial. So given this information, Mr. Aaron Coleman, would you like to continue representing yourself? Or would you like Ms. Maureen McLeod to continue representing you?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to represent myself.
Right. I'll accept your right to waive counsel and to choose to represent yourself. And Ms. Maureen McLeod is, please submit your order of withdrawal with either one or both these cases. Okay. This is, Mr. Coleman, have you been informed of the recommended sentence in the event that you choose to enter a guilty plea or no contest to these charges?
No, it was like, I heard of it. I need to hear it again.
All right. And please pay attention.
Yes, ma'am.
We are going to begin with, okay, let's begin with the simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or one who is pregnant. What is the recommended sentence, Ms. Desiano? Is it Ms. Desiano or Ms. Mitchell? Ms. Mitchell?
Yeah, I can do that, Your Honor. So it's going to be 12 months, probation, served 60 days, credit for time served 21 days, balance probated, no further contact with Colin, spelled C-O-L-I-N, Brown, a behavioral evaluation or mental health evaluation, or 12 weeks anger management. And that's it for position 8.
What about, okay.
Your Honor, I apologize. The calendar is confusing. It's okay. The recommendation for position 8 is actually 12 months served, 45 days, credit for time served, 21 days, no contact with Walter Henderson, and that will run concurrent with the add-on case. The add-on case, which is the battery and the willful obstruction, it will be 12 months served, 60 days, credit for time served, 21 days, balance probated, no further contact with Colin Brown, complete an MH or BHET, or 12 weeks of anger management. And then count 2, the obstruction will run concurrent with count 1 and a $300 fine.
Ms. Mitchell, it's not your fault. The paragraphs were just
They're
inverted.
flip-flop.
Yeah, I didn't receive the add-on calendar either, so that might also be why I'm confused.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me just clarify that for Mr. Coleman. I know we're going to be repeating this. I just want to make sure he understands. So, Mr. Coleman, you have 2 separate cases.
Yeah.
Follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In one case, it's simple battery against a person who's 65 years or older, and that's from December 6, 2024. Okay?
All right.
Follow me?
Yeah.
All right. I'm doing it really for myself, but I want to make sure you understand as well. So the December 6 incident, simple battery against a person who is 65 or older, the recommendation is 12 months to serve 45 days, credit for time served 21 days. So you would have about 2 days extra to serve in this case. And then after that, you'll be on probation. While you're on probation, you are to have no contact with Walter Henderson, which means that you are to stay 200 yards away from him and not contact him or communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. You're to stay far away from him and not communicate with him. So that's the first case. Are you and I on the same page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On the second case, in which you are accused of battery and willful obstruction of an officer, this incident appears to have occurred on December 5th of 2024, involving one Colin Brown. And in that particular case, with the 2 charges, on count 1 battery, your sentence is 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 21 days. So that means you have 9 more days to serve for that particular case in jail before you report to probation. Once you've completed the 9 days, you will then report to the Fulton County Probation within 48 hours of being released. Hopefully you have no other cases holding you at the jail, but you would have to report. And while you're on probation for the second case, you are to have no contact with Colin Brown. You are to stay 200 yards away from him and not communicate with him in any form, way, or manner. Then you have the option. You can either do a mental health evaluation, a behavioral health evaluation, or 12 weeks of anger management. You have to pick one of the 3. For count 2, which is willful obstruction of an officer, your sentence is going to be concurrent with the battery charge, which means you serve it at the same time, and that would be an additional $300 fine.
I have a question. If I can. Okay, so this is a conflict case?
No, it's not a conflict case. It is a pro se case. You are self-represented. You waive your right to counsel.
But isn't this the case there where there is a complaint?
Nope.
So then how would I be charged with a crime if there's no complaint?
You've already been accused.
But somebody
There's a
would.
warrant, and there's a warrant, there's probable cause, and you're charged. You are legally presumed innocent of the charges, but you have a right to go to trial. And if you do exercise your right to go to trial, then the prosecutor has the complete burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecution is unable to carry its burden of proof, then you will be acquitted of the charges and they will be dropped. However, if the prosecution does prevail and carry its burden of proof and overcomes your legal presumption of innocence, then you could be convicted and you can face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense.
Yes, ma'am, I got you. I got you.
So right now, you've heard the recommendation from the prosecutor. How would you like to proceed?
I would like to proceed, no contest.
All right. Ms. Desiano or Ms. Mitchell, is the plea being offered in exchange for a no contest plea or for a guilty plea?
Your Honor, it's being offered in exchange for a guilty plea. However, if he wants to plead nolo, then I just need to look at his history. But given that these are multiple cases, we would object to a no contest
right.
typically.
Look at his GCIC and let me know.
Okay.
Just briefly, as far as his history, he does have history in Oklahoma, Arizona, Virginia, California, and Georgia. And there were some, he does have a history of violence as well. So,
Well, without Your Honor, we'd object to a no contest plea then.
all right. Mr. Coleman, the prosecution will not provide the offer unless you plead guilty. They will not accept a nolo or no contest.
Okay, I will plead, guilty.
And based on the recommended sentences, is that what you accept?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Coleman, do you agree that the factual basis for both cases are true and accurate as submitted by the state?
Sure.
You need to answer me clearly.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree that the identity of the defendant in both cases are true and accurate? That is, that it is you?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree that the venue of the alleged offenses are in Fulton County, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood the both cases?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you, well, I was going to ask you if you're satisfied with your attorney, but clearly you should be satisfied with yourself. Do you understand that you have to enter this plea freely, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you choose to represent yourself, you'll be giving up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You will not.
I accepted the plea.
I understand, but I have to ask you these questions. So you need to, since you're representing yourself, I'm just following the law.
Yes.
Do you understand that you will not get the chance to go back to court, to confront your accusers, to challenge the evidence that will be brought against you by the prosecutor, to lose your ability to have the assistance of counsel or to represent yourself and present your defenses, your arguments, mitigating factors, to cross-examine witnesses, present your own witnesses on your behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
You also understand that you will be waiving your right to make the prosecution carry their burden to prove all these charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt and overcome your legal presumption of innocence? Do you waive that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And also you waive the right to file an appeal or challenge these charges in any appellate court of review.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older?
It's the same plea, correct?
It's two separate cases. I'm dealing with position 8 right now, 24 CR 8035B. How do you plead to simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older?
Guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 45 days, credit for time served 21 days. No further contact with Walter Henderson, and this sentence will be concurrent with your add-on case. You have 2 additional days to serve in this case. How do you plead to 1 count of battery? How do you plead to 1 count of battery and 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer from December 5th, 2024?
Guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 21 days. You have about 9 additional days to serve at the Fulton County Jail.
Okay.
Once you are completed with the 9 additional days, you'll be released and placed on probation. You must report to the Fulton County Probation Office at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta And while on probation, you are to have no contact with Colin Brown. You still haven't told me which option you would like to choose: a mental health evaluation, a behavioral health evaluation, or 12 anger management classes.
Mental health evaluation.
Within 15 days of being released, you will go to a qualified healthcare provider and go through a mental health evaluation at your expense. You will also submit to all treatment and counseling that will be required by the evaluation, and you will pay for all treatment as required. For count 2, the obstruction charge, it will be concurrent to count 1, and that will be an additional $300 fine. You will pay the $300 fine in addition to your probation fees. The fine must be paid at the rate of $30 minimum per month. You will report to probation every month for the rest of the 12 months or the remainder of the 12 months after you're released from the Fulton County Jail. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Position number 46, Robert Young.
This is State versus Robert Young, 24 CR 8127G, accused of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. He has 3 other cases: 24 CR 3929G, 24 CR 3858G, and 23 CR 7945G. Mr. Young, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be, is it Ms. Kim?
Yes, it is, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor, I am
All right.
back on. Thank you very much for your patience.
Just a minute. Courtroom 2, do we have our Spanish interpreter case? That's which one was it?
Your Honor, he's not in the courtroom.
Okay, just let us know. Ms. Tolles is with us. Ms. Tolles, as soon as the defendant's present, we'll put you in a breakout with defense counsel. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. All right, going back to Mr. Young, Ms. Desiano, Mr. Young, is this going to be a plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Young, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that we are addressing 4 separate cases with regards to you? All right. Okay, Ms. Desiano?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation for the case on the calendar, position 46, is time served 74 days, credit for time served 37 days. The first add-on case is 24 CR 003929G. The defendant's charged with criminal trespass and willful obstruction. The state's recommendation is for count 1, 12 months served, 60 days, balance probated, no further contact with Ashley Tucker, stay away from 445 Cleveland Avenue Southeast, complete 12 weeks of anger management and 40 hours of community service, and no firearms. And then for count 2, the obstruction will 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1 and a $300 fine. The second add-on case is 24 CR 003858G, where the defendant is charged with disorderly conduct. The state's recommendation for that case is 12 months served 60 days to run concurrent with 24 CR 003929G, balance probated, no contact with Ashley Tucker, and stay away from that same address, 445 Cleveland Avenue. The third add-on case, Your Honor, is 23 CR 007945G. The defendant's charged with simple battery and criminal trespass. The state's recommendation for count 1 is 12 months, serve 60 days to run concurrent with 24 CR 3929G, balance probated, no further contact with Alfonso Salazar, and stay away from the Walmart at 1105 Research Center Drive. And for count 2, that'll be 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1. And we'd ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and ID for purposes of the plea. And if Your Honor can sound for Ms. Ashley Tucker and Mr. Alfonso Salazar. Nothing further.
Mr. Salazar and Ms. Tucker, I don't see anyone by those names on Zoom. Okay. Ms. Kim, do you stipulate the factual basis, venue, and ID for all 4 cases?
Except that before I do that, I would like to double check. He understands that he told me that he believes that he served 4 months for those additional charges, add-on charges. However, we do not have records from the jail. We want to make sure that he will get 30 days credit for time served for those add-on charges. As of now, no one knows exactly how many days he will be. I mean, I don't. And apparently, ASG DeCiano does not know either how many days the jail will give him a credit for those add-on charges.
Well, willful obstruction was the earliest, the one that he was booked in was November 20th.
Yes, Your Honor. So the 2 add-on cases involving Ms. Tucker, he was released on a copy of the charges for one of them because he was taken to the psychiatric unit at Grady, and they gave him another court date. So it's our understanding he didn't serve any time for that one. That was the first add-on, Your Honor. The second add-on for disorderly conduct, it looks like he also went to Grady into the psychiatric unit. There's no notes or anything about where he was taken to jail. It could have been that he was released on a copy of charges. Of course, the defendant is entitled to receive credit for any time he served. We just have no documentation to show that. For the third add-on case, at the incident at the Walmart, he was taken to the East Point jail. So again, the state has no records from East Point at this point to calculate how much time he has served. So I know at least on one of the cases, he was released on a copy of the charges. And since the offer was to serve 60 days for all 3 as a global, he would be required, if my math's correct, to serve at least 30 days additional if he takes the plea today.
I'm just going to go by the days he's spent at the Fulton County Jail, and the sheriff of Fulton County can give him these credits since it's on record. Mr. Young was booked into jail on February 25th, 2023, and released on March 30th, 2023. I'll give him credit for 34 days. He was then booked into Fulton County Jail on December 23rd, 2023, and released on December 27th, 2023. And I'll give him credit for 5 days. And then he was arrested again on November 20th, 2024, and where he's currently still in jail for 37 days. That will give him a total credit of 76 days. And that's the number of days he's given credit for. And then 35. And so it will be to serve 76 days, credit for time served 38 days. Ms. Kim?
Yes.
Is this something that your client would like to consider?
Does it mean that he has to stay additional days, or he does not have to stay anymore?
No, he doesn't have, let me see, 60 days to serve 60 days. He's already served 76 days. No, he'll be on probation.
Okay.
Yes. 60 days, run concurrent. Yep. Ms. DeCiano, do you have anything to add?
Your Honor, the cases that you're referring to, are those different cases or these specific cases?
I'm just going by the jailing system, the days that he was in Fulton County Jail. I'm not including the time that he was otherwise seeking medical treatment.
Understood, Your Honor. So, I mean, the state's position is that if it's up to the jail to calculate how much time he's been in. We understand he's served some time on the obstruction. Based on my review of it, doesn't look like he has served specifically on the add-on cases. However, the state has no objection to the court giving him credit for time he served. I just don't want there to be an issue if the jail doesn't recognize that, then we will have to modify the sentence, but I understand the intention of the court is to have him serve no more jail time and serve the balance on probation, and
Correct.
that's fine with the state.
I am giving him credit for 76 days for all the 4 cases,
Okay.
which is just the jail time I have on Fulton County Rice Street Jail. If he served jail time elsewhere for something else, I'm not counting that. So,
Understood, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim, does your client want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. $76 days. Sorry, let me, 12. Just going to do serve 76 days. Okay. And Ms. Kim, you said you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, we
for
do.
all cases? Okay.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Young, you've certainly given your attorney a lot of work to cover for all 4 cases. Are you ready to proceed with this plea?
Yes.
You need to speak up, okay? Because I need to understand what you're saying.
Yes,
Can't hear you.
yes, ma'am.
That's much better. Okay. Now, Mr. Young, you've got 4 open cases. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to give you credit for the 76 days that you've served at the Fulton County Jail. I don't know where else you've served time, but since it isn't at Fulton County Jail, I'm not going to consider it. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's on you. You've racked in enough cases with Fulton County, and now it's time to be on probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you violate any of the conditions for probation, we will have you come back to jail and go serve out the rest of the time in prison. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in all your 4 cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared to enter a guilty plea to all these charges freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
And has your attorney explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty today, you will not get a chance to go back to court and have a trial in any of these 4 cases?
Yes, ma'am.
You will not be able to confront your accusers, challenge the evidence brought against you, have your lawyer assist you to present your arguments, defenses, and mitigating factors, and have the prosecutor carry her burden to prove all these charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 misdemeanor charges, 6 misdemeanor convictions added to your criminal history record. Are you prepared to accept that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you will not be able to appeal my sentence once I impose it.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer in case 24 CR 8127G?
Yes.
Your sentence is to serve 76 days, credit for time served 76 days. Your obligation for that case is over. In case 24 CR 3929G, you're accused of criminal trespass and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. How do you plead to these 2 charges?
Yes.
On count 1 is 12 months to serve 76 days, credit for time served 38 days, balance probated. While on probation, you'll have no contact with Ashley Tucker, stay away from 445 Cleveland Avenue, and do 12 anger management classes, complete 40 hours of community service, and not own, possess, or have any firearms near you. You have to stay 200 yards away from Ashley Tucker, stay away from 445 Cleveland Avenue, and enroll in the anger management classes within 60 days of being released. You must complete all 12 classes without skipping any of them. You're also to complete 40 hours of community service at a minimum rate of 10 hours per month. On count 2, it'll be 12 months concurrent with count 1 and a $300 fine. You will pay the $300 fine at a rate of $30 per month while you report to probation every month. On your third case, 24 CR 003858, how do you plead to 1 count of disorderly conduct? Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 76 days, credit for time served 38 days, concurrent to position number, case ending in 3929G. Again, it will be probation concurrent to the case I just mentioned, no contact with Ashley Tucker, and stay away from 445 Cleveland Avenue in Southeast Atlanta. On your fourth case, 23 CR 7945G, how do you plead to 1 count of simple battery and 1 count of criminal trespass? It's 12 months. Count 1 is going to be 12 months to serve 76 days, credit for time served 38 days, concurrent to case number 24 CR 3929G. Again, probation will be concurrent. This time, no contact with Alfonso Salazar. Stay 200 yards away from Mr. Salazar and stay away from the Walmart at 1105 Research Center Drive. On the criminal trespass is 12 months concurrent with count 1. You will report to probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m., which is this coming Monday. Probation is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. If you do not report, if you violate these conditions, or if you get arrested again, your probation will be revoked and you will finish out the rest of the probation in prison. Understood? All right, Ms. Thomas, please make a note that he's not allowed a violation. Thank you. Moving on. Courtroom 2 or Ms. Kim?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any other cases at ACDC?
Yes.
We can go in courtroom 2.
Where are we going? Courtroom 2? Who do we have?
Position number 43, Gregory White.
Mr. Gregory White is 24 CR 8082Y, accused of criminal trespass and willful obstruction from December 10th of this year. Mr. White, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. This is going to be a negotiated plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. White, do you solemnly raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? Okay. I'm sorry, Ms. Kim or Ms. Daciano? It's Ms. Daciano.
Yes, Your Honor, state's recommendation for count 1 is 12 months, served 34 days, credit for time served 17 days, balance probated, stay away from 210 Auburn Avenue, which is the Bethel Towers. And then for count 2, the obstruction, 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1, and a $300 fine or 30 hours of community service. And the state has no objection to termination upon completion of the conditions. We'd ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and ID for purposes of the plea, nothing further.
We stipulate so.
Okay. Mr. White, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
No.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yeah.
As has been explained to you, if you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the chance to confront your accusers, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the prosecution prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights? How do you plead to criminal trespass at Bethel Towers and willful obstruction of an officer? On the criminal trespass, your sentence is 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days, balance probated. You are to stay away from the Bethel Towers at 210 Auburn Avenue. When I say stay away, I mean stay 200 yards away. That's the length of 2 football fields, which means that no one should be able to see you anywhere near that building. On the obstruction is 12 months concurrent with count 1. Would you like to pay a $300 fine or do 30 hours of community service?
30 hours.
I can't understand what you're saying. What do you want to do?
30 hours.
30 hours of community service, is that what you're saying?
Yes, be quiet.
All right, then you will do the 30 hours of community service and you will do it at a rate of 5 hours per month at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. You will report to probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m. If you do not report, we'll bring you back to jail. Thank you.
Position number 9, Davis.
This is also negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right. Colin Davis is accused of theft by shoplifting on November 20th, 2024.
Yes.
Yes,
Mr. Davis, when I came to see Mr. we thought he was out here at the jail, so I haven't spoken with him yet, since he's at ACDC, so I'm gonna need to.
I spoke with him, Mr.
Okay.
Eli. Yes.
Okay, then to continue, Mr. Colin Davis is accused of theft by shoplifting under accusation 24 CR 8126E. Mr. Davis, you have been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Kim, and this is a negotiated plea. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Repeat.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is going to be 12 months, served 74 days, credit for time served 37 days, a stay away from the Dick's Sporting Goods located at 1155 Mount Vernon Highway, an anti-theft course, and a $500 fine. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim, do we so stipulate?
Yes, we do. May we please ask for first 2 months of probation fee to be waived since he does not have a job right now and he has to also pay for $500 fine. That's financial burden.
Okay, I will waive his probation fees through the end of February. He starts paying probation from March 1st, 2025 onwards. Does he have any holds?
No hold, Your Honor.
All right. And Ms. Mitchell, do you know how many shoplifting convictions he has on his record, if any?
I did not count the shoplifting records, but he does have 10 cycles on his record. Your Honor, I know it's been a while for me. Is the $500 fine required by statute or?
No, it's just
Okay.
classified as a misdemeanor.
I'm okay reducing that to $250.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Mr. Davis, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently? Mr. Davis, when I ask you a question, you have to respond. Otherwise, we're just going to send this case to trial.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty to this theft by shoplifting conviction, it will be registered on your criminal history record. And if you have more than 3 shoplifting convictions on your record, any subsequent arrest for shoplifting will be a felony charge. Are you aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still willing to move forward with this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead to this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not be able to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to theft by shoplifting on November 20th, 2024?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 74 days, credit for time served 37 days. The remainder of the time you'll be on probation. You report to probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will stay away from the Dick's Sporting Goods at 1155 Mount Vernon Highway. You are to enroll and complete in an anti-theft class. You will enroll in that class within 30 days of being released. You're also to pay a $250 fine, and you will pay that fine at a minimum rate of $25 per month. I will waive your probation fees up to and including through the end of February 28, 2025, and you will start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025 onwards.
Yes, ma'am.
You are to complete all these requirements and attend probation every month. Thank you.
So when should I be released?
If you have no holds, you should be released within 24 hours. You'll be released on Friday, and then you report to probation on Monday.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Best of luck.
Next, we can go to position 39 and 40, 39 through 41, Terrence Turner.
This is State versus Terrence Turner, 23 CR 69598, accused of simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or who is pregnant from November 7th, 2023. He's got a separate case, 24 CR 008086A. And he's and that is accused of terroristic threats and acts and simple assault family violence from December 10, 2024, involving the same victim. Mr. Turner, you have been advised of your rights. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim, and this is going to be a plea, yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. His bench warrant, 24 FTA 1951, will be dismissed upon entry of the plea. Ms. Desiano?
Yes, Your Honor, for position 39, the state's recommendation is 12 months, served 40 days, credit for time served 20 days. And that's to run concurrent with position 40, balance probated, no further contact with Sharon Baugh, stay away from 3901 Campbellton Road Southwest. For position 40, the state's recommendation for count 1, the terroristic threats, 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 2, and count 2, the simple assault family violence. These states recommending 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 17 days, balance probated, no further contact with Sharon Baugh, stay away from 3901 Campbellton Road Southwest, complete an MHET and 40 hours of community service, and no firearms. And we'd ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and ID for purposes of the plea. And if you can stand for Ms. Baugh, Your Honor, nothing further.
Sharon Baugh, B-A-U-G-H. You're present. I don't see anyone by that name. Okay, Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate?
Yes, we do.
And can we agree that he has 13 more days to serve at the jail?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Turner, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that you have additional time to serve at the jail before you report to probation?
Well, I do 13 days.
13 extra days before you are released, and then you report to probation.
Okay, how much would I have to pay for probation?
Well, you're going to be paying for probation is about $49 a month, if I'm not mistaken, in addition to your other conditions. Has that been explained to you?
No.
All right. Let's see now. Did you listen to what the prosecutor was saying?
I can barely hear her.
All right. Now listen. All right. Let's see if what Ms. Desiano says to you is the same thing that your lawyer said to you. Ms. Desiano, for the simple battery against Sharon Bowe from November 7, 2023, that's a serve 40 days, credit for time served 20 days, no contact with Sharon Bowe and stay away from Campbellton Road, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you hear that, Mr. Turner?
Yeah.
All right. Now your second case involving Sharon Bowe, listen very carefully. Ms. Desiano?
Yes, Your Honor, so he's charged with 2 counts, 1 count of terroristic threats, and the second count is simple assault, family violence. For the terroristic threats, the state's requesting 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 2. And for count 2, the state's recommending 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 17 days from the time he's been incarcerated from December 10th, 2024 to today, balance on probation, no contact with Ms. Baugh, stay away from the same address, complete a mental health evaluation and follow any recommended treatment, complete 40 hours of community service, and no firearms while on probation.
So that means you spend 13 extra days at the jail and then you report to probation. You will need to do community service, a mental health evaluation, and still continue to stay away from Sharon Bowe.
Okay.
Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
what your attorney explained to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney services?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared to enter a guilty plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand there's no right to appeal once I impose my sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you decide to plead guilty to these cases, you will have to give up your right to a trial. You will not go back to a courtroom. You will not be in front of a judge or a jury for these cases. You will not be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, confront those accusing you, and have the state carry its burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You will also not get the right to present your defenses, your arguments, or any mitigating factors with the assistance of counsel. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
With regards to position 39, how do you plead to simple battery against Sharon Bowe?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 40 days, credit for time served 20 days, and this will run concurrent with your second case. You are to have no contact with Sharon Bowe and stay away from 3901 Campbellton Road in Southwest Atlanta. How do you plead to terroristic threats and acts?
Guilty.
This will be 12 months probation concurrent with count 2. Count 2, how do you plead to simple assault, family violence involving Sharon Bowe?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 17 days, which means you have 13 more days at the Fulton County Jail. After you've completed the extra 13 days, you'll be released, but you must report to probation within 48 hours. Probation is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. If you do not report, your probation will be revoked and you'll spend the rest of the year in prison. Do you understand?
Ma'am.
While on probation, again, no contact with Sharon Bowe. Stay away from the same Campbellton Road location. And within 45 days of being released, you will enroll in a mental health evaluation and submit to any treatment and counseling and prescription medication that's required. You will also complete 40 hours of community service, and you can do that at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. And you will complete your community service at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month. You will pay probation fees every month. You will report every month, and you're not allowed to own any firearms. Thank you. Oh,
Number
your bench
14.
warrant. I'm sorry, bench warrants dismissed. Position 13.
Number 14 and 15, Greg.
This is Lakeisha Kenyatta Griggs, position 14, and which is a theft by taking charge. under accusation 24 CR 51928. The second case against Ms. Griggs is a bench warrant 24 FTA 1948 from October 24th, 2024. Ms. Griggs, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Tom White, or Ms. Kim.
Oh, yes.
Your attorney is Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, how are we proceeding?
Negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right. And the bench warrant will be null pros upon entry of the plea. Ms. Griggs, if you please raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sorry about that. Ms. Griggs, do you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is going to be 12 months served, 52 days, credit for time served, 26 days, no further contact with RAM, spelled R-A-M, Buka, spelled B-U-K-K-A, a stay away from the Chevron gas station at 3819 Jonesboro Road Southeast, a $780 restitution to RAM Buka, and an anti-theft course. And as Your Honor already stated, position 15 will be null pros. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim, do we so stipulate to factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, we do so.
Ms. Griggs, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was saying, are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. And do you understand that if you decide to plead guilty, that you will be giving up your constitutional right to a trial? You will not be going back to court to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury, to be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that we brought against you, present your own arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to theft by taking?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 52 days, credit for time served 26 days. Your jail time is concluded, and if you have no other holds, you'll be released within 24 hours. But you must report to Fulton County Probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m. Probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you are to do the following conditions. No contact with RAM Buka. You are to stay away from the gas station at 3819 Jonesboro Road. You are to pay a restitution in the amount of $780 for the damages caused, and you will make those payments at a minimum rate of $75 per month until all $780 are paid. You will also complete an anti-theft class, and you are to enroll in that class within 60 days of being released. I will waive your probation fees up to and through the end of February 2025, and then you will start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025 onwards. Your bench warrant will be dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we can go to position number 38, Mr. Turner.
Who's representing Mr. Turner?
I do, Your Honor. This is also a negotiated plea.
Mr. Edward Turner's case is 24 CR 8087Y, accused of criminal trespass causing damage to property, December 9th of this year. And he's got a second case, 24 CR 2960Y. And we're going to be, is this a CT case, trespass?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Turner, these are the two cases we're going to address. Please remember your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Please raise your right hand for the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes,
Repeat.
ma'am. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. All right. Ms. Desiano, what's the recommendation for both cases?
Yes, Your Honor, for position 38, the state's recommending 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days, balance suspended. Stay away from 5617 Oakley Industrial Boulevard, which is the Marlowe South Fulton Apartments. And for the add-on case 24CR002960Y, state's recommending 12 months to serve 4 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance suspended. Stay away from the Dunkin' Donuts at 7804 Sonoya Road in Fairburn. And we'd ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and ID for purposes of the plea, nothing further.
All right, thank you. Deputy, if we can have Ms. LaShawna Johnson come into courtroom, please. Oh, okay. All right, but I'm ready for her. She's ready. Thank you. Sorry. Mr. Edward Turner, I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, do we stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Turner, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Medicine, ma'am.
Repeat.
Medicine?
Medicine? Okay. And even after consuming the medicine, are you able to understand? Are you able to understand what's going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that if you plead guilty to both these charges, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial? You will
Yes,
not
ma'am.
be able to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you
Yes, ma'am.
prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand you have to stay away from 2 locations. Are you aware of what the locations are?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what they are?
Dunkin' Donuts and the apartments.
All right, that would be the Marlowe South Fulton Apartments, the entire complex. Do you
Yes,
know
ma'am.
anyone there?
No, ma'am.
All right, then no reason to go there. And this is the Dunkin' Donuts on Sonoya Road in Fairburn.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How do you plead to criminal trespass causing damage to property?
Guilty.
How do you plead to criminal trespass in case 24 CR 2960Y?
Guilty.
On the criminal trespass causing damage, your sentence is 34 days, 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days, balance suspended. Do not return to that apartment complex. On the Dunkin' Donuts trespass, your sentence is 12 months to serve 44 days, credit for time served 2 days, which means, to serve 4 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance suspended. Your jail time for both cases are completed, and you're to stay away from the Dunkin' Donuts at Sonoya Road. Got to
Yes,
get your
ma'am.
copy elsewhere.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to take a 30-minute recess, and I'll be right with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, I'm sorry, did you say 30 minutes?
30 seconds.
Okay.
You can count it now. Then tell me if I'm running over.
All right, Judge.
Sounds good. I apologize, that went slightly 30 seconds over, but it's 30 seconds in some way. All right, let's proceed. Francois, who do we have?
Number 24 and 25, Lewison.
Thank you. 24 and 25.
This is also negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right. This is Kim Lewison, case number 20 CR 6044E, accused of simple assault family violence from July 30th, 2019. And she's also got a bench warrant from June 5th, 2024, under case 24 FTA 1960. Ms. Lewison, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. This is going to be a negotiated plea, and your bench warrant will be dismissed upon the entry of the plea. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Repeat? Okay, good. Thank you, thank you. Ms. Daciano?
Yes, Your Honor, state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 64 days, credit for time served 32 days, balance probated, no further violent contact with Alexandria Swan, family violence intervention program, complete an MHET, and no firearms. And we'd ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis in ID, and if you could sound for the victim, Your Honor. Thank you.
Alexandria Swan? No show. Ms. Kim, do you stipulate?
Yes, we do. Since she has no job right now, and also she needs to start all over again, we would like to request for 2 months of probation fee to be waived, Your Honor.
All right, I will waive it until the end of February. Starts paying probation fees from March 1st onwards. Ms. Lewison, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
Medicine.
And after consuming the medicine, are you still able to understand your attorney and your cases? I know you have to wear the mask, and I applaud you for doing so, but you need to speak. No, you don't have to lower it. You just need to speak like really loud. This is a time to. Okay. And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes.
Go ahead. If you have a question, this is the time to ask.
I just wanted to see if the witness had already because the court date in June was on Zoom, and I showed up and she said that the case was dissolved. Was the court case not in on Zoom?
On your case, position 24, you had a court date on June 5th, 2024, before Judge Morrow. It was an ORCA status calendar, and you did not appear, and a bench warrant was issued. So it had not been dismissed. It was still an open, active case. Let me see the history of this case. Hearing, anti-referendum, file, discovery. We haven't been able to reach you in 2022 and 2023, and a bench warrant was issued on March 2nd, 2023. And then a second bench warrant was issued on June 5th, 2024. This case has never been dismissed.
Okay, and I will see the stipulation to the probation. How long will it be?
Probation will be for 64 days, credit for time served 32 days, so it'll be just under 11 months.
Okay.
Would you still like to continue with the plea? Or you can exercise your right to trial, and the case will be reset for trial.
Your Honor, if I may, I believe the confusion may lie with, she had another case, 22 CR 004726E, for which she pled guilty to in 2022. And this case was still outstanding, and it wasn't caught at that time. So there may be some confusion with there being multiple cases. But the case that she pled to in 2022 is a different case this case predates that case.
Okay. Simple battery. This was simple battery, and let me see. Yes, she pled guilty and the trespass was dismissed. And this was done on August 4th, 2022. Is that the one you're talking about, Ms. Lewison?
Yes, so that case was dismissed, or what was?
No, it was not dismissed. That case was disposed of by entry of a guilty plea to simple battery against a person who's 65 years or older and simple battery family violence. And this was involving a Deborah Swan and Alexandria Swan.
Okay, and then, so I would be released, what's the next process?
I guess you were released to handle your probation for that case. Judge Williams took that plea on August 4th, 2022. And you still had this older case outstanding and that was not addressed at that time. So you had multiple cases involving the Swans.
Okay.
So do you want to proceed with this plea or would you like to have a trial? This is an older case.
I'll proceed.
Repeat?
I'll proceed.
Okay. As I was saying, are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes.
And if you decide to enter this plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not be able to go back to court to confront your accusers, to be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Correct.
How do you plead to simple assault, family violence involving Alexandria Swan from July 30th, 2019?
Oh, yep. Yes. What was the question?
How do you plead to simple assault, family violence involving Alexandria Swan from July 30th, 2019?
I'll plead guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 64 days, credit for time served 32 days. You'll be on probation. While you're on probation, you will have no violent contact with Alexandria Swan. Ms. Kim, has your client successfully completed a domestic violence intervention program?
That I do not know, Your Honor. May I please ask her, have you completed domestic violence classes for another plea that you took?
Yes.
I don't think
So
she...
would I be released in 24 hours or?
Yes, but I need to see whether you've done a family violence. Did you do a family violence program?
I did.
Ms. Desiano, if she has completed a family violence program involving more or less the same victims from an older case, would the state have any objection to applying the certificate to the current case?
No, Your Honor, especially since this incident predates the one that she pled to before. And I'm looking at her sentence now. She was ordered to complete it, so that's fine.
Okay. All right, Ms. Lewison, I'm going to dispense with the FVIP or the DVIP requirement. You're only required to do an MH evaluation within 30 days of being released, and you're not allowed to own or possess any firearms. Your bench warrants will be dismissed. Once you have completed the mental health evaluation, and if no treatment is required, or if you've completed any treatment or counseling, I will place your probation on a non-reporting basis. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
All right. So right now your probation fees are waived. So if you complete your evaluation and treatment within the next 2 months, and then your probation goes non-reporting, then you will save yourself probation fees.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully I don't see you again. So good luck. Take care.
Next, we go to position number 29, Mr. Nelson.
You got no breakout room?
Yes.
Richard Nelson, have you spoken to Mr. White?
Your Honor, I've spoken with him this morning. He's negotiated plea.
All right. Mr. Richard Nelson's case is 24 CR 8050F. He's accused of criminal trespass, loitering and prowling, and willful obstruction of an officer. Sir, if you raise your right hand for the plea, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nelson, Ms. Desiano, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor, for count one, the criminal trespass, the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 18 days, balance probated, stay away from the Ramada Hotel at 5010 Old National Highway. For count two, loitering and prowling, 12 months probation to run concurrent with count one, and count three, the obstruction, 12 months probation to run concurrent with count one, and a $300 fine or 30 hours of community service. And we'd ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis in ID for purposes of the plea.
Your Honor, we do stipulate, and he has chosen to do the 30 hours of community service. We would just ask that you waive, he is currently homeless, ask that you waive 3 months of probation fees. Allow him to get that done.
I'll waive 2 months and he'll have to, he doesn't have extra time. Does he have any holds?
Not that we're aware of, Judge.
Okay. I'll waive probation fees through the end of February. By then, that will give him adequate time to get a job and stop paying probation fees.
Judge,
But his probation can, any objection to non-reporting, Ms. Desiano?
No, Your Honor, no objection.
If he completes the 30 hours of community service within the next 2 months, then his probation will be non-reporting. Then he'll save himself probation fees.
I understand.
Okay. Mr. Nelson, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you will have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not get the opportunity to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, be able and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to criminal trespass, loitering and prowling, and willful obstruction of an officer?
Yes.
For the criminal trespass is 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 18 days. You will be released within 24 hours, but report to probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m. While on probation, you will stay away from the Ramada Hotel at 5010 Old National Highway. On count two, it will be 12 months probation concurrent with count one, and count three, obstruction, is 12 months concurrent with count one, with the requirement that you do 30 hours of voluntary community service with any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. If you complete all 30 hours before the end of February 28th, 2025, your probation will be non-reporting. Otherwise, you start paying probation fees from March 1st, and it will only go non-reporting once you completed all 30 hours. Do not return to that Ramada Hotel, otherwise you'll be arrested again. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good luck. So you got to report until you get the community service.
ACDC, who do we have?
This is gonna be Shava Moore. She's an add-on, position number 7.
This is negotiated plea, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Mr. White, have you spoken to your client Gonzalez yet? No.
Oh,
Didn't know.
No, Your
Shava,
Honor.
all right. Shava Moshe Moore is accused of criminal trespass from December 6, 2024 under case 24 CR 8000F. Ms. Moore, my name is Judge Long. You've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. May I place you under oath for the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? Thank you. Ms. Desiano?
Yes, Your Honor, state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 28 days, credit for time served 14 days, balance suspended, and stay away from the core at Lindbergh Apartments located at 741 Morosco Drive. And we'd ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and ID. Nothing further.
Ms. Kim, do we so stipulate?
Yes, we do so, Your Honor.
Ms. Moore, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Yes, Your Honor, good medicine.
All right. So you consumed some medication?
Yes,
That's all right. I just want to be sure that you are still able to understand your lawyer and what's going on right now.
I do understand.
Okay. Are you satisfied with your legal services?
I am.
And has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty, not only will you be required to stay away from those fancy apartments called the Core at Lindbergh, but you also have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not be able to go back to court to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present your arguments and defenses in court, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 28 days, credit for time served 14 days, balance suspended.
11 o'clock.
Please do not return to the Core at Lindbergh at Morosco Drive. Counsel at iPad, could you please mute your screen? I think we're getting some feedback from your audio. Thank you. Who's your client? Oh, you need
Jonathan Rivera.
Okay, thank you. All right, ACDC is done. Courtroom 2, is it next?
We can go to position number 31, Mr. Oliver.
Good morning.
Good morning. Keith Oliver is case number 24 CR 008-051H. Mr. Oliver has been accused of theft by shoplifting from December 6, 2024. Mr. Oliver, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one would be appointed to represent you. Has Mr. Oliver consulted with the Public Defender's Office?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe this is a pro se plea, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Oliver, if you choose to waive your right to counsel, you would be responsible for understanding how the laws, rules, and procedures apply to the facts of your case. Any legal decision would be your responsibility, and you'll be responsible for the consequences and ramifications of your decisions upon your personal freedom, upon the terms of your probation, upon any open cases, the ability to get a job, and also it may affect your residency if applicable. Do you waive your right to counsel, or would you like appointed counsel?
I waive. All
right.
I waive.
And how would you like to proceed with your case today? Today, you have an opportunity to consider a recommendation from the prosecution in exchange for a plea of guilty or no contest, if that is available, or you can enter a plea of not guilty and the case will be scheduled for trial, which is your constitutional right. How would you like to proceed?
Guilty. Yes, ma'am. Second one, I think. The second one?
The second one would be a not guilty and ask for a trial, unless
No.
you want to consider a recommended sentence from the state.
No, ma'am, just guilty.
Ms. Desiano, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 40 days, credit for time served 20 days, balance probated, stay away from the Walmart at 844 Cleveland Avenue in East Point, pay a $500 fine, complete an anti-theft course, and complete 40 hours of community service.
Mr. Oliver, that is the recommendation from the prosecution. Would you like to proceed with this recommended sentence?
Yes, ma'am. But the fine, I'm homeless right now and, jobless. What can be, kind of worked out with that,
Well, you can get a job and then you can start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025, and start paying your fine as well. But
Okay.
they'll be required. Otherwise, you'll be in violation and you can end up serving the rest of the sentence in prison.
How long would that be?
Prison would, well, if you go on probation today, then it will be 12 months less 20 days.
I'll let the person go ahead.
So if you decide to accept this plea, you would be responsible for the fine and the probation fees from February 1st, 2025 onwards.
We can sit there, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to move forward.
Okay. If you decide to accept this plea, you would have to agree that the factual basis supporting this charge, the identity of the perpetrator, that is you, and that the venue, Fulton County, Georgia, are all true and correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you so agree?
I agree.
Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand there's no right to appeal once I impose my sentence?
Correct. Yes,
If you
ma'am.
decide to accept this plea, you give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to go back to court with the assistance of counsel to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence presented in the court of law, present your own defenses, arguments, and mitigating factors, direct and cross-examine witnesses, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Understood. Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting?
Guilty.
You understand that if you have more than 3 theft by shoplifting convictions on your criminal history record, any subsequent arrest can be a felony charge.
Yes, ma'am.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 40 days, credit for time served 20 days. Your jail time is concluded. You'll be released within 24 hours, and you report to probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m. You will report to probation once a month until the remainder of the 12 months are completed. You will stay away from the Walmart at 844 Cleveland Avenue in East Point, Georgia. You will pay a $500 fine beginning March 1st, 2025 at a rate of $60 a month, a minimum payment of $60 per month, and you will pay your probation fees also beginning March 1st, 2025.
How much is that?
Your probation fees are $49, so it'll be a total of $109 a month minimum. Make sure you get a good job. Within 60 days of being released, you will enroll in an anti-theft class, and that would be at your expense. You're also to do 40 hours of voluntary community service at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month. Since you're not paying your fine and your probation fees until March 1st, 2025, I highly recommend that you get your 40 hours of community service done so that you can spend more time working and paying for your fine and your job and your probation fees. Thank you.
She's coming at 11:30. Next, we can go to position number
Okay. Third row.
44. No, not 44, Your Honor. 45, Patrick Williams.
45. Patrick Williams is accused of criminal trespass and causing damage to property under case 24 CR 8025D from November 20th, 2024. Mr. Williams, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim.
Can I ask her something real quick? Say something real quick.
Mr. Williams, one of the rights is your right to remain silent. In open court, if you choose to make statements about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. Did you have a question to ask of your attorney?
Yes, I was going to ask her if if I can,
Don't-
ask for time served, instead of the negotiated plea, if she could just ask you that, that's all I'm asking her to ask.
Ms. Kim, is this a non-negotiated plea?
I guess that's what we have to do, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Williams, this is going to be what we call a non-negotiated plea. The prosecution is going to present their recommendation if you decide to plead guilty. And then Ms. Kim will argue for what you are requesting, that is time served. I will consider the arguments presented by both counsel. I will also consider your criminal history record and the circumstances.
I have
Listen.
no violent charges since my armed robbery in 2018.
Mr. Williams, just listen to what I'm saying. I will consider your criminal history record if you have one. I'll also consider the circumstances giving rise to this case. And then after I've considered both the arguments, I will then give you my decision. My decision will either to accept the state's recommendation, the defendant's recommendation, or I can exercise my discretion to disregard the plea, require a not guilty plea, and schedule this case for trial. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But please remember your right to remain silent. Ms. Desiano, what's the recommendation from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommending 12 months to serve 90 days, credit for time served 20 days. That's from December 7th, 2024 to today, balance probated. No further contact with John Nagy, Nagy. Stay away from the public library at 1332 Metropolitan Parkway, and restitution to remain open for 30 days. This incident involves the defendant at the incident location on November 20th. It was about 11:30 in the morning, and he threw a brick through a front passenger window of the victim's vehicle that was parked in the parking lot. The incident was caught on camera. Nothing was missing. The surveillance video was provided to police. The police recognized the defendant as someone who frequents this area. And Your Honor, the basis for the state's recommendation is his criminal history. He has a very, very recent conviction for criminal damage to property in the second degree. He's got several, he's on probation for that. The case number is 21 SC 179341. And since he's pled guilty to that, he pled guilty to that in 2022. He's had several arrests for theft, probation violations, interference with public property, assaulting law enforcement officers. But the basis for the extra jail time in addition to his subsequent arrests are that the similar nature of the offense that he's already on probation for in Superior Court, Your Honor.
Is there an open Superior Court case other than the probation?
Let me double check.
I think it was DWOP.
Because I know there was an entering auto that was dismissed fairly recently.
All right.
That's the only
So
one.
this is Mr. Patrick Williams, 1, 2, 3. This is his 4th arrest at Fulton County Jail just in 2024 alone. June 6th, August 11th, October 28th, and of course the most recent, December 7th. All right. Ms. Kim, what are we looking at?
Well, currently he is going through homelessness, Your Honor, and he does not have any means to pay for the probation unless he finds a job. Only thing that I'm concerned is that there's a restitution open for 30 days. He's been in custody for more than 20 days, and I really don't think that should be continuous anymore. The alleged victim had enough ample time to submit the receipt, and he has not done so. He's not even here. Your Honor, we would like to request for that restitution open to be closed, and also he is requesting to reduce his time to serve. He's already served 20 days, and if he accepts the plea as is, he has to be in jail 25 days more. We would like to reduce that lower, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to disregard either plea offer. If Mr. Williams does not want to do additional jail time and consider restitution, I mean, obviously, if I accept the plea, then he's agreeing that he threw a brick through someone's window of someone's car. So if he's not willing to consider restitution and not consider the jail time because he's got numerous arrests just in 2024, then I'll be glad to schedule this case for trial. But the recommendation that Mr. Williams want time served, no, that's not enough. He is clearly someone who is will reoffend, and someone who clearly doesn't take responsibility for damage to property of somebody else's car.
People go with violent charges. I said I would consider restitution. That's her word. I'm not defending what she co-signed.
It's not time served. Not time served.
I mean, if you could just drop the time, so I mean, I'm not a violent person. I ain't shoot nobody. Nobody was harmed, and then no, I don't take.
You threw a brick into someone's car window, according to the warrant. Glass could have hit somebody else.
It only been about a whole year.
Now, I'm not going to accept either plea. I don't think this is a plea that's reflective of what Mr. Williams is willing to be responsible for. So the fact that he didn't hit somebody doesn't make it a non-violent charge. We're going to reset this case. Ms. Kim, would you like to file would you like to file a waiver of arraignment? Or,
yes, I will do so.
All right. Mr. Williams, your attorney is going to enter a not guilty plea for you, and your case will be scheduled for trial. At the time of the trial, the prosecution will prove the case. Well, if he's interested, his next court date is February 7th, 2025 at 9 a.m. before Judge Edline. Thank you.
We can go to position number 44, Mr. Dustin Whitener.
Dustin Whitener is accused of battery from December 10th, 2024. His case number is 24CR8138D. Mr. Whitener, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Kim.
Actually, this is also another pro se
plea.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Thank you. So, Mr. Whitener, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. Please remember, this is not only a live stream, but recorded virtual proceeding. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. If you choose to waive your right to counsel and represent yourself, you are responsible for understanding how the criminal laws, procedures, and rules apply to the facts of your case. You're responsible for how your decisions may impact your freedom, any other open cases you may have, upon your residency if applicable, upon your ability to own a firearm or to obtain a loan or to get a job. All right? Would you like the assistance of a licensed attorney from the Public Defender's Office, or would you want to continue to represent yourself?
I'll continue to represent myself.
All right. So you waive your right to counsel. So presently, the state has got a recommendation in the event you decide to accept the recommendation in exchange for a guilty or no contest plea. Otherwise, you do have a constitutional right to plead not guilty and have the case scheduled for trial. At the time of the trial, the prosecutor would have the complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt because you are legally presumed innocent of the charge. How would you like to proceed?
I'd like to proceed.
With what?
With the case.
Understood. How would you like to plead?
I plead guilty.
All right. Ms. Desiano, he would like to consider the plea hearing. What's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is, this is Widener, correct?
Whitener, I've got.
Whitener.
Whitener.
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommending 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days from December 12th, 2024 to today, balance probated, no further contact with Daniel Ortega, 12 weeks of anger management or an MHET, complete 40 hours of community service, and no firearms. And we'd ask, well, if he's pro se, Your Honor, I can give you a factual basis.
Go ahead.
But if you could sound for the victim at the appropriate time. This case happened on December 10th at 550 Peachtree Street. The defendant punched Mr. Daniel Ortega in the face, giving him a black eye. This was a bus stop at Emory University Hospital Midtown. There was some dispute over some drug paraphernalia, and the defendant punched Mr. Ortega in the face. And if you could sound for Mr. Ortega, Your Honor.
Mr. Daniel Ortega, if you're on Zoom, this will be the time to unmute. All right. Mr. Whitener, that's the recommendation. If you decide to accept it, you would have to agree that the factual basis, as just indicated by the prosecutor, is true and correct. Would you agree?
I agree. Only thing I would like to add is I'm homeless. Can I waive my probation fees for a couple of months?
I will consider it. Do you agree that the perpetrator of this offense, battery from December 10th, that would be you?
Yes, I agree.
And do you agree that the incident occurred in Fulton County, Georgia?
I agree.
Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
I don't know if I placed you under oath, so let's go ahead and do that. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I swear, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have you understood what's going on in your case today?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared to enter a plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that by entering this plea, that there'll be no right to file an appeal once I impose your sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
And you would also have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not get the opportunity to go back to a court of law to present your own defenses and arguments and mitigating factors, to challenge the evidence presented by the state, confront your accusers, and have the prosecution carry its burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of battery involving Daniel Ortega?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. If you have no other holds, you will report to probation on Monday, December 30th, before 3 p.m. I will waive your probation fees for the months of January and February 2025. You will start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025 onwards. You will have no contact with Daniel Ortega, and you're to stay away from the incident location, which is the bus stop near that Emory Hospital. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you want to, well, you're supposed to also do 40 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. You'll be required to do the community service at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month, and you're not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms near you. The other requirement is either a 12-week anger management program or a mental health evaluation. Which option would you like to consider?
I'll choose the mental health evaluation.
Within 30 days of being released, you will undergo a mental health evaluation with any qualified healthcare provider, show proof of the evaluation to your probation officer, and also show proof that you will be required to submit to any treatment or counseling or medication. If you fail to comply with the treatment, this will be considered a violation of your probation. You will report to probation every month until the 12 months are completed. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I see there's Mr. Kessler, Jason Kessler.
Yeah, Judge, I'm here, Judge.
All right. You represent Jonathan Rivera, who was
Correct.
convicted of driving without a valid license and exhaust system violation under case 22 CR 7249. Mr. Rivera, you are advised to exercise your right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. Mr. Rivera actually has 22 CR 7249, and he has an FTA, 24 FTA 1877.
Judge, he didn't get that. He was supposed to pay the fine and do the defensive driving school. He didn't get that done on time, so that was the FTA. And but he now has paid the fine, and I emailed the certificate to Mr. Jordan that he has done the defensive driving school. So everything is done now, Judge.
When was he convicted? July 26, 2024.
Correct.
Your Honor, is this SAP?
I'll be right. No, it's not. It's just very brief. I just have to decide whether Mr. Rivera is going to be coming back to jail or whether he's going on probation or whether I'm going to consider this as compliant. So he
was arrested on the FTA and spent.
These are the three things I have to consider.
Sorry.
All right. I just want to know whether I'm going to send him back to jail to complete the rest of the year, whether he's considered in compliance or whether he'll be on probation. All right, Ms. Desiano, the FTA was issued why?
Your Honor, I apologize. Which case is this?
This is on our compliance calendar. He failed to return to court to provide proof of payment, complete the defensive driving on September 10th, 2024. On September 10th, 2024, he did not appear. And then he made an online payment on October 8th for his fine. And then he submitted his defensive driving on December 17th, 2024. And this is the worst copy of the defensive driving certificate I've ever seen. According to this, it was September 16, 2024. How many hours was this?
I think it looked just a normal defense round.
I'll need the original. That's the worst copy of a defensive driving certificate.
Yeah, that's what his mother sent to me.
No, I'm not going to accept that. All right, Ms. Desiano? Unless you want to accept it, then it's up to you.
No, Your Honor, we'll defer to the court at this point, and he can provide the original certificate that shows the hours.
All right. I'm going to amend his sentence. I'm going to require him to report to probation. His first report date is going to be December 30th before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street. And he'll need to bring the original copy of his certificate of completion to probation. He'll report every month. No driving until probation, all terms of the probation, especially with the defensive driving, is completed.
Okay.
All right.
I'll make sure he gets that done, Judge. Okay.
All right.
Excuse me, Your Honor. May I just have the full name and spelling of the attorney, the defense attorney?
Jason, Jason.
Okay.
Full initial J, last name Kesser, Kesser.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Rivera, please unmute.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Your lackadaisical and amazing, pathetic compliance with what was otherwise a very simple case has clearly shown that you have no respect for what you were provided with. I'm going to require you to report to probation. And after we've received the original copy of the defensive driving certificate, you will be on non-reporting probation for the rest of the year. No driving unless you have a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. if you get arrested again for the rest of the 12 months since July, when did you take the plea? I think it was July 26, 2024. I'm amending it from balance suspended to balance probated. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. A very simple thing that could have been resolved and you screwed it up. It wasn't your lawyer, it was you, all you.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Kessler?
I'll make sure he gets it done, Judge.
All right. And Mr. Jordan, we will need to do an amended disposition for this case, balance probation, non-reporting upon providing the original copy of his certificate. Make sure it's a 6-hour program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Back to SAP, courtroom 2. Who do we have?
Position number 11, Mr. Gibbs.
And we'll now cross that bench warrant for Jonathan Rivera. I'm sorry, what was that name again?
Gibbs, position 11, Judge.
Gibbs, okay. Ms. Tolles is back. Mr. White, is your other client there, Mr. Gilberto? Who's talking?
I can do a breakout room for him because he has a lot of other clients at the courtroom too. I'm sure it will be hard for him to do breakout room.
With, you mean with
Spanish interpreter?
The interpreter case, is an add-on case, isn't it?
We'll still need.
Milton Gonzalez?
He's in courtroom.
He's
too,
in the
Judge.
courtroom, so we can't do.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Sorry, Ms. Tolles, I appreciate it, but if you need to step out, let us know.
Oh, that's fine. I'm back
Okay.
whenever you all are ready.
Oh, I've been ready, but you know what to do. DeAndre Gibbs is position 11, and he's accused of criminal trespass from December 9th of this year, 24 CR 8073F. Mr. Gibbs, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. White. This is going to be a negotiated plea. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months, served 34 days, credit for time served 17 days, balance suspended, and a stay away from Ashley Auburn Point Apartments located at 322 Decatur Street. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. White, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do, Judge. Nothing further.
Mr. Gibbs, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes.
Has it been explained to you that by pleading guilty to this charge, you give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You don't get a chance to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present your own arguments and defenses, and the state won't have to prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days. Balance suspended. Do not return to the Ashley Auburn Point Apartments at 322 Decatur Street. Otherwise, that will be a one-way ticket back to jail. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we can go to position number.
Deputy, do we have any more cases outside?
Position number 2, Mr. Austin.
Number 2. Jasper Austin, is that correct?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Austin's case is 24 CR 6887C. Just make sure he has only one case. Yeah. And Mr. Austin's been accused of 2 counts of willful obstruction and 1 count of criminal trespass. Mr. Austin, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Mr. White. May I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. This is going to be a time served plea. So for the first two counts, it will be time served 74 74 days, credit for time served 37 days. As to count three, we will add that the rest of the time will be suspended, and a stay away provision for the Glen Hotel located at 110 Marietta Street, Northwest Atlanta. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. White, do you so stipulate?
Stipulate, Your Honor, nothing further.
Mr. Austin, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to these three charges, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not be able to confront your accusers, challenge the evidence they present in a court of law, have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt, and you will not be able to present your arguments and defenses with the assistance of counsel. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to 2 counts of willful obstruction and criminal trespass?
Guilty.
On the willful obstruction and the criminal trespass, your sentences are time served. Served 74 days, credit for time served 37 days on each count, balance suspended. Do not return to the Glen Hotel at Marietta Street in Atlanta. Otherwise, you'll be arrested again. Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You too.
We could do the breakout with the interpreter.
Huh?
Just
I
have a
don't
seat.
think so.
Have a seat, have a seat, have a seat, have a seat.
Yeah.
Well done. Yes.
Yeah, I don't see them. I ain't got no. What's that? No. No.
Mr. White, who do we have?
The interpreter case.
All right. Mr. White, are you comfortable going to a breakout at this time?
Yeah, so it's just the deputies.
All right, Mr. Jordan, sorry, is it Mr. Jordan? Yeah, it is Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan, could you place courtroom 2 and Ms. Tolles in a breakout session, please? And Ms. Kim, I'll just go over the calendar with you while we're waiting for Mr. White.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Desiano or Ms. Mitchell? All right. We got a couple of calendars. On the compliance calendar, Jonathan Rivera, his disposition was amended to probation, non-reporting upon completion of the submission of the original of his DDS certificate. DB bench calendar, is Bertha Perkins present? Bertha Perkins. I have an iPhone here. I don't know who that is.
I'm available.
You need your video on Ms. Perkins? And if the host could amend it to Bertha Perkins, please. Ms. Perkins, who is your attorney?
I'll be available if she has not have anyone.
Well, as long as she keeps her phone. Ms. Perkins, you need to be seated quickly.
I'm sorry, I'm at work. I'm walking out now.
All right, Ms. Perkins. All right, we'll give you an opportunity to speak to an attorney unless you've hired one.
I have not hired anybody.
All right, we'll put you in a breakout very shortly with Ms. Kim. In the meantime, that would be on our DB bench calendar. On the add-on calendar, position 1, Aaron Coleman was a plea. Position 2, Robert Coleman, he's represented by Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy has not made an appearance, so I'm going to reset this to next Thursday. Hopefully, you will have a chance to speak to him. And that date is going to be what? Is it January 2nd?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Leroy Cooper, Ms. Desiano, have you determined if the alleged victim is deceased?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Position 1 and 2 are going to be reset to January 2nd. The appointed counsel is Ms. Zakia Watson Cafe. Position 5, we're going to address that shortly with 5 and 6. We're going to address that shortly with Mr. White. And position 7, Shiva Moore was a plea.
And Your Honor, which date are you resetting 3 and 4?
January 2nd. All right. Moving on to the main SAP calendar. Position 1, Christy Allen was a plea. Position 2, Jasper Austin was a plea. Position 3, 4, and 5 are waiver of arraignments and further notice for trial. Position 6 is reset to January 7. 7, Brandon Clemens was a plea. 8, Aaron Coleman was a plea. 9, Davis was a plea. 10, Dorsey plea. 11, Gibbs a plea. 12, Gordon was a plea. Position 13, Kyle Gordon was a plea. 14, Lakeisha Griggs was a plea. 15, Griggs bench warrants null prost. 16, Carlton Hall. Has that confirmed transfer to Superior Court?
No, Your Honor, we have not heard back. We've requested reset.
This is reset to January 2nd, pending 2025, pending a transfer. 17, Contravious Hunter was a plea. 18, Marcus Johnson was a plea. 19 is null prost. 20, Lazarus Jones is reset to January 2nd. 21, Kennedy is released for the notice. 22, Gordon Lambert. Is that a confirmed transfer to Superior Court?
No, Your Honor, none of the transfers for today have we received a response back yet.
All right. That's reset to January 2nd, pending a transfer. 23, Gordon Lambert is reset to January 2nd, pending a transfer. 24, Kim Lewison. We haven't done a plea yet, have we?
Yes, Your Honor,
I
that
think
was a
we did.
negotiated plea.
Yeah, that was a plea. Okay, and then 25 was null prost. 26, McGirt was released on December 18th. 27, positions 27 and 28 are reset to January 7th. Was that correct, Ms. Kim? January 7th?
Yes, Your Honor.
29, Richard Nelson was a plea. 30, Marco Norris is reset January 2nd, pending a transfer. 31, Keith Oliver was a pro se plea. 32, Kenneth Pack is reset to January 7th at 11 a.m. 33, Cortus Ragland is reset to January 7th, represented by Ms. McLeod. 34 and 35, Archie Simpson are reset to January 2nd. Brandon Smith is reset to January 7th. 37, Tobias Stevens is reset to January 2nd. 38, Edward Turner was a plea. 39, Terrence Turner was a plea. Terrence Turner, position 40, is also a plea. 41 is null prost. 42, Washington pled on December 18th before Judge Edie. Position 43, Gregory White was a plea. 44, Dustin Whitener was a plea. And 45 was Patrick Williams. The plea was disregarded by the court. It's a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. He does have a court date before Judge Edline on February 7th. And then 46, Robert Young was a plea. Okay. Moving on to our—
Your Honor,
yeah.
Before we move on, position 33, Mr. Ragland, the PDs said it was reset to January 7th, and then Ms. McLeod, I believe, was waiting to speak with him. Is that a reset, or are we addressing him
It's a
today?
reset. She's already left the calendar.
Okay.
No, she's still here. She's still here. Sorry. She's still here. So we'll wait on Mr. Ragland.
Your Honor, I believe that case, we were told to represent Mr. Ragland because I believe that another person was represented by co-counsel. There was some kind of mix-up, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know how to tell you what. Let me deal with my add-on and then we'll deal with the mix-up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Position number 5 and 6. Okay, Ms. Tolles, good morning. Thank you for being here on the 26th. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you translate will be a true and accurate translation with no changes or embellishments?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have defendant Milton Ernesto Gonzalez Sorto who's got 2 cases before us involving also including a bench warrant.
Tenemos aquí delante el señor Milton Ernesto González Sorto, que tiene 2 casos para nuestra consideración y también una orden de arresto.
The bench warrant is for failure to appear on June 7, 2023, under case number 24 FTA 1894.
La orden judicial de captura es por no haber comparecido a la audiencia el 7 de junio 2023, que corresponde a número de caso 24 FTA 1894.
His other case is 23 CR 2390D.
El otro caso que tiene es el 23 CR
And he,
2390D.
and he has 8 charges stemming from a traffic incident on December 23rd, 2022.
Y hay 8 cargos correspondientes a un accidente automovilístico que ocurrió el 23 de diciembre de 2022.
Mr. White, does your client know the 8 charges, or would you like me to read them out?
He knows them, Judge.
Licenciado White, ¿su cliente sabe los 8 cargos o necesita que se los lea? Él ya lo sabe.
This is a good plea.
It's a plea.
Es una declaración a cargos.
Ms. Daciano, are any of these charges merging or being null crossed?
Licenciada Deciano, ¿se va a unir alguno de los cargos o algunos van a quedar desestimados?
Yes, Your Honor, count 6 will merge with count 7.
Sí, señoría. El cargo 3 se une al cargo 7.
And the state will be null crossing counts 2, 3, and 8.
Y el Estado va a anular los cargos 2, 3 y 8.
All right. So that means, okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 offenses that we are addressing.
Entonces, seguimos adelante con 1, 2, 3, 4 infracciones,
Including DUI under the influence of alcohol per se.
incluido manejar embriagado bajo los efectos de alcohol.
What's the recommendation?
¿Cuál es la recomendación?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation for count 1, driving without a valid license, is 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 7 and a $210 fine.
Sí, su señoría. La recomendación del Estado para el cargo 1 se trata de 12 meses de libertad condicional, simultáneamente con la condena para el cargo 7 y una multa de $210.
Counts 2 and 3 will be null crossed.
Los cargos 2 y 3 quedan desestimados.
Count 4, the state's recommending 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 7 and a $500 fine.
En cuanto al cargo 4, el Estado está recomendando 12 meses de libertad condicional simultáneos con los meses de libertad condicional para el cargo 7 y una multa de $500.
For count 5, the state's recommending 12 months to run concurrent with count 7 and a $265 fine.
En cuanto al cargo 5, el Estado está recomendando 12 meses de libertad condicional simultáneos con los meses de libertad condicional para el cargo 7 y una multa de $265.
And count 6 will merge with count 7.
Y el cargo 6 se une al cargo 7.
Count 7, state's recommending 12 months to serve 32 days, credit for time served 16 days, balance probated, a $1,000 fine, 240 hours of community service, DUI risk reduction, 2 victim impact panels, and to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation and follow any recommended treatment.
En cuanto al cargo 7, el Estado está recomendando 12 meses para cumplir 32 días, acreditándole el tiempo que ya cumplió detenido de 16 días, el saldo de ese tiempo en libertad condicional, una multa de $1,000, 240 horas de servicio a favor de la comunidad, asistir a la escuela de reducción de riesgos, la escuela de DUI, asistir 2 sesiones del impacto de manejar embriagado en las víctimas y asistir o someterse a tratamiento por problemas de consumo de alcohol y droga y seguir cualquier tratamiento que ellos recomiendan.
And finally, count 8 will be null crossed.
Y por último, el cargo 8 queda anulado.
Mr. White, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do, Your Honor.
Licenciado Wright, ¿usted está de acuerdo con los hechos de la manera que los leyó la señora fiscal? Sí, estamos de acuerdo.
Mr. Gonzalez, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Señor González, ¿usted ha consumido algo de medicinas o alcohol recientemente?
No.
No.
Nomás para dormir me han estado dando aquí.
No, just to be able to go to sleep since I've been here.
No parezco de nada.
But I don't suffer from anything.
Are you able to understand what's going on in your 2 cases?
¿Usted ha podido entender lo que está pasando aquí con sus 2 casos?
Sí, un poco.
Yes, a little.
A little?
¿Un poco?
What don't you understand?
¿Qué es lo que no ha entendido, señor?
Bueno, de la libertad condicional, ¿cómo se llama? Sí me van a dejar en libertad aquí y luego voy a continuar con los requisitos que me han puesto, no sé.
So as far as the probation, are they going to let me out from here and then I'll continue to do the conditions that you've imposed on me? I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Sí.
Otra cosa, para salir de acá voy a tener que pagar algún bonus o nada.
And one more thing, in order to get out of here, will I have to pay a bond or anything?
No.
No. Está bien.
You only pay a bond if and be released if your case is still open and pending. Today, you have to decide whether you want to plead guilty to these charges. They will go on your criminal history record. That means you are responsible for these charges. You'll be paying a fine and you'll be going on probation. You'll have to do programs and you cannot drink alcohol for at least 1 year. But Ms. Tolles needs to translate.
One moment. Solamente se paga una fianza, señor, cuando su caso sigue abierto y los cargos siguen pendientes. Pero hoy lo que usted está decidiendo es que si usted quiere declararse culpable, y con eso, esos cargos aparecerán en sus antecedentes penales. Usted estará haciéndose responsable por los cargos, entonces pagará una multa, va a ser determinado tiempo en libertad condicional, asistirá a unos programas y tendrá que pasar 1 año sin consumir alcohol.
Your Honor, no alcohol was not a condition on the plea.
Su señoría, nada de consumo de alcohol no aparece como una de las condiciones de la declaración de culpabilidad.
This is a DUI per se. I'm going to require it.
Pero es un caso de manejar embriagado por alcoholemia, así que se lo voy a requerir.
Judge, that may be, but it's not in the statute that, and
I'm
that's
going to
not,
require it, Mr. White. This is a plea to DUI per se.
Yo sé, su señoría, pero los estatutos no lo especifican. Sí, pero se lo voy a requerir porque se trata de un caso de manejar embriagado.
The other charge is possession of open alcohol container and speeding and driving without a valid license, though that does not include alcohol.
I am
Los
aware that,
otros cargos son tenencia de un envase de bebida alcohólica abierta, manejar en exceso de velocidad, manejar sin licencia. I'm sorry, Mr. White, go ahead, I cut you off.
no, so they're gonna require, the judges adding a requirement that you're not drinking.
Entonces la juez está agregando un requisito que usted no puede tomar alcohol.
No comprendo or no comprado?
No,
All right, we're gonna need to go back into a breakout, Judge, so I
Sure, no problem. Ms. Toll, Mr. Jordan, please place courtroom 2 and Ms. Tolles into a breakout. Ms. Perkins. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, Bertha Perkins and I were on the phone
Okay.
talking over the phone while you were on the court.
Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, we are ready to proceed. Let me ask her to come to the court. Can you appear at the court? Thanks for your patience, Your Honor. She's
No
on the
problem.
way.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is State of Georgia versus Bertha Perkins, case number 24CR 003428J. Ms. Perkins, you are accused of simple battery family violence from an incident date of May 21st, 2024. Looks like you received a signature bond through pretrial services back on June 3rd of 2024 at your first appearance. Please remember that this is still an open, active criminal case against you. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, especially on this virtual proceeding that's not only being recorded but live streamed. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney's name is Ms. Kim. This is a failure to appear in court before Judge Besson on December 4th, 2024. Ms. Kim?
Yes, my client had no notice, even though there was no mail that shows the return to the sender. What happened was she stays with her mother and niece and other people in the family members. Apparently, no one gave any notice to my client. So she actually went to the court to reset the court date, even though that was after the court date was missed. But she was proactive about it and she wanted to reset the date. We would like to request for court's grace because this is the only one failure to appear. She has never done that. She does not have any other troubles with the court. She is really working hard to keep her job, which she's on the probation period for 90 days, that she cannot miss any work days. If she does, she will lose a job. So we would like to set aside this bench warrant, Your Honor.
Okay. See, the address that she's provided, is that the Conyers location?
Yes, Your Honor. That's where she resides with other people together.
All right. Ms. Daciano, anything to add?
Your Honor, I don't really understand the argument, to be honest. She's saying that she didn't get notice, but then she's saying her address is good and she lives with other people and they
She's
didn't
blaming
tell
other
her.
people in the house. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me, Your Honor. She has a responsibility to keep her address updated, and it sounds like the address that is on file is the correct address, so there's really no excuse for her missing court.
That really is a sad excuse, really, it is. And I don't have a problem having her report back to jail. But I'm going to give you a one-time freebie, and you're going to make sure, I don't care if you have 2 people or 20 people living in your household, you are responsible for making sure that your mail reaches you. Once it leaves the courthouse, we don't care how your mail is sorted at your house, ma'am. If you, and I don't honestly have any respect for you when you say it's somebody else's problem in your household. You're the one with the criminal charge. You are the one who's responsible for keeping up with your mail. Nobody else. I'm going to set aside the bench warrant. You are responsible for making sure you get the court dates. The next time you don't show up in court and we get another bench warrant, don't even bother setting it aside. Just come straight to jail. Understood?
Understood.
All right. Make sure you comply.
I live with my mother.
You have
and that's what I
a
was-
right to remain silent, Ms. Perkins. You got the bench warrant set aside.
Yeah, please explain to her. We're not going to put up with blaming other people in the household. She's responsible. All right. Ms. Kim, if you can send a proposed order setting aside the bench warrant.
Yes.
And Ms. Perkins, you're responsible for making sure you show up in court. It's nobody
Yes,
else's
ma'am.
job but yours. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, going back to 23 CR 2390D, would Mr. Gonzalez like to move forward with the plea?
Do I stay on the call or what do I do?
You're free to go. Ms. Tolles, would he like to move forward with the plea with the requirement of no consumption of alcohol while on probation?
Señor González Sorto, quisiera seguir adelante con su declaración a los cargos con el requisito de nada de consumo de alcohol durante su plazo de libertad condicional.
He's in agreement with the condition, Judge.
All right.
Él sí está de acuerdo con esta condición.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm going to ask you again. Do you understand what's going on with your case so far?
Entonces le vuelvo a repetir, señor González, ¿usted entiende todo lo que está pasando con su caso hasta ahora?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
¿Y está satisfecho con los servicios legales, señor?
Estoy.
That's fine.
If you decide to plead guilty to these 4 charges, you will have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury.
Si usted decide declararse culpable a estos cargos, entonces estará renunciando a su derecho constitucional a un juicio, a un juicio por un juez o un jurado por estos cargos.
You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and present your arguments and defenses.
No va a poder confrontar a las personas que le acusan o presentar pruebas a su favor y en su defensa.
The prosecutor will not be required to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
A la fiscal no se le va a requerir probar los cargos contra usted fuera de una duda razonable.
My sentence will be the final decision and there's no right to appeal.
Mi sentencia será la decisión definitiva y no tendrá usted derecho a apelar.
Are you prepared to give up these rights?
¿Está usted preparado para renunciar a esos derechos, señor? The interpreter could not hear clearly. I'm so sorry.
Could you repeat it?
All of it?
No, just the question.
Are you prepared to give up your constitutional rights associated with the trial?
¿Está usted preparado para renunciar a sus derechos constitucionales que están asociados con un juicio, señor?
Just specific to this case.
Solamente relacionado con este caso en particular.
No he entendido bien para yo poder decir. Sí.
I haven't understood really well to be able to respond.
Can I give it a shot? She's saying that you're giving up in this case.
We'll put you in a breakout, Mr. White, Mr. Jordan, Ms. Tolles, and
Judge,
again.
Judge, there's no need for a breakout. I'm just going to try to break down what we're doing in simple terms for him. We're not going to talk about anything.
You don't need an interpreter for that?
Right, but the interpreter doesn't need to go to the breakout either. We can.
All
just
right.
say,
But you need to speak loud enough so that the interpreter can translate what you're saying to him.
I understand. And Ms. Tolles, were you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
What were you? Go ahead.
So she's saying for this case, that by entering a guilty plea, you're giving up your rights to a trial and all associated rights for this case.
Ella está diciendo, la señora jueza está diciendo que al declararse culpable, usted está renunciando los derechos asociados con un juicio, pero solamente con relación a este caso en particular.
Do you understand that?
¿Entiende ahora?
Sí. No.
Yes.
Okay, Judge, I think we've got it.
Creo que ya lo tenemos, señora juez.
Mr. Gonzalez, if you plead guilty to this charges of DUI and speeding, no valid license, and open alcohol container, You're telling the court that you are guilty, that you are responsible.
Señor González, si usted se declara culpable a los cargos de manejar embriagado, manejar sin licencia, manejar en exceso de velocidad y tenencia de un envase de bebida alcohólica abierta, usted está indicando al tribunal que está culpable, se está haciendo responsable.
If you don't feel that you're responsible, you feel that this is wrong and that you are innocent, then you have a right to a trial. You don't have to say you're responsible. You go back to court and you have a trial.
Entonces, pero si usted no se siente responsable, si usted piensa que eso está mal y usted no es responsable de estos cargos, entonces tendrá derecho a tener un juicio, volver después al tribunal y tener un juicio en el caso.
You will be the defendant in a trial.
Usted entonces sería el acusado en un juicio.
And you are considered innocent of these charges.
Y usted sería considerado inocente de estos cargos.
At the time of the trial, the prosecutor has the burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
En el momento del juicio, él o la procurador tendrá la obligación de probar los cargos en su contra fuera de una duda razonable.
If the prosecutor does not prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt, you will be found innocent and the charges dropped.
Si el procurador no prueba los cargos en su contra fuera de una duda razonable, entonces usted quedará determinado inocente de los cargos.
That is what a trial is for.
Para eso es un juicio.
But if you give up that right and you decide to plead guilty today and take responsibility, then you will be convicted of DUI.
Si usted renuncia a ese derecho de juicio y elige declararse culpable, entonces usted quedará con un fallo condenatorio de una persona que manejó en estado de embriaguez.
And the penalty includes paying a fine of almost $2,000, being on probation, and completing some classes.
Y el castigo implica casi $2,000 de multa, un plazo de libertad condicional y asistir a unas clases.
Your lawyer is asking you whether you want to plead guilty with this recommendation or whether you want to go to trial.
Su abogado le está preguntando si usted quiere declararse culpable para aceptar esta recomendación o si usted quiere ir a juicio.
I only know how to say this in English, and Ms. Tolles is explaining it to you in Spanish.
Yo solamente sé cómo decirlo en inglés y la señorita Tolles se lo está diciendo en español.
Do you understand now what it means to go to trial or waive your right to a trial?
Lo que significa ir a juicio o renunciar al derecho a juicio.
Be honest. I'm just asking you to be honest.
Sea sincero, puede contestar con sinceridad. Solamente le estoy preguntando. Yes, I will plead guilty.
Do you waive your rights to a trial?
Entonces renuncia a sus derechos a un juicio.
We can't hear you. Speak up.
No podemos oírle bien, señor. Hable un poco más fuerte.
Según lo que estoy entendiendo, me estoy declarando culpable, pues estoy perdiendo los derechos, ¿verdad?
From what I'm understanding, if I'm pleading guilty, then I'm losing my rights.
You're not losing it. You have to voluntarily give it up. Mr. White, it's an interpretation. I just need to make sure.
Judge.
No, the interpreter didn't get to say that part.
Wait.
Judge.
Interpret, Ms. Tolles.
No está perdiendo sus derechos. Usted tiene que renunciarlos voluntariamente. Thank you, Your Honor. Go ahead.
Judge, he's clear that he's giving up his rights for a trial in this case. He told me from the beginning that he wanted to enter a guilty plea. We went over this.
¿Le queda claro, señora juez, que él está renunciando a sus derechos para hacer su declaración de culpabilidad? Él me indicó desde un principio que quería declararse culpable.
I think it was kind of the wording of the question when you first asked him what he understood. It was, he didn't quite understand that, but
Creo que fue la manera que usted formuló la pregunta cuando inicialmente le preguntó que si él entendía, que no lo entendió bien.
we very quickly got to, he does not want a trial.
Pero muy rápido llegamos a que él no quiere juicio.
I'll use your client's verbiage. Mr. Gonzalez, do you voluntarily agree to lose your rights to a trial?
Voy a usar entonces el lenguaje de su cliente. Señor González, ¿usted voluntariamente acepta perder sus derechos a un juicio? Yes.
How do you plead to driving without a valid license, speeding, possession of open alcohol container, and DUI under the influence of alcohol per se?
¿Cómo usted quiere declarar entonces a los cargos de manejar sin licencia, manejar en exceso de velocidad, tenencia de un envase de bebida alcohólica tenencia de un envase de bebida alcohólica abierto y manejar bajo los efectos de alcohol, alcoholemia? ¿Cómo se quiere declarar, señor?
Culpable.
Guilty.
Driving without a valid license is 12 months, concurrent with a DUI charge and a fine of $210.
Por manejar sin licencia válida, se trata de 12 meses simultáneas con el tiempo para el cargo de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol, una multa de $210.
Just to clarify, that's 12 months probation.
Y para aclarar, me refiero a 12 meses de libertad condicional.
The speeding charge is 12 months probation, concurrent with DUI, with an additional $500 fine.
En cuanto a manejar en exceso de velocidad, se trata de 12 meses de libertad condicional simultáneos con los meses de libertad condicional para el cargo de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol, con una multa de $500.
Your Honor, I sincerely apologize for interruption, but I believe PD Tam wanted to do 11 months and 29 days probation instead of 12 months.
Pido disculpas la interrupción, su señoría, pero creo que el licenciado Tom quería pedir 11 meses, 29 días de libertad condicional en lugar de 12 meses.
Mr. White?
And Judge, I don't think it matters under the law, but if we could get that, I mean, there's no harm in trying.
No creo que importa según dispone la ley, pero si nos quiere conceder eso, está bien.
Ms. Desiano, any objection to amending the 12 months to 11 months, 29 days?
Licenciado Desiano, ¿alguna objeción al enmendar el plazo de en lugar de 12 meses que sea 11 meses, 29 días?
No.
No.
All right, so I amend the driving without a valid license to 11 months, 29 days, the speeding to 11 months, 29 days, the possession of an open alcohol container to 11 months, 29 days, concurrent with the DUI with an additional $265 fine.
Entonces, enmendo el plazo de tiempo de libertad condicional para la infracción de manejar sin licencia válida a 11 meses, 29 días. Para manejar el exceso de velocidad, también el plazo de libertad condicional sería 11 meses, 29 días. Y tenencia de un envase de bebida alcohólica destapado. El plazo de libertad condicional sería 11 meses, 29 días, simultáneos con los meses de libertad condicional para el cargo de manejar en estado de embriaguez, con 265 días adicionales de multa. Sorry about that, Your Honor.
That's all right. And with regards to the DUI charge under the influence per se, the sentence is 11 months, 29 days, to serve 32 days, credit for time served 16 days.
Y en cuanto a manejar bajo el estado de embriaguez, alcoholemia, será un plazo de 11 meses, 29 días, en libertad condicional para cumplir 32 días, acreditándole el tiempo que ya cumplió, que son 16 días.
While on probation, he will pay an additional $1,000 fine.
Mientras está cumpliendo la libertad condicional, pagará una multa adicional de $1,000.
His total fine for the 4 charges is $1,975.
La multa total para los 4 cargos son $1,975.
He will report to probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m.
Se presentará a la oficina de libertad condicional el lunes 30 de diciembre antes de las 3 de la tarde.
He will pay his fine at a rate of $200 a month.
Pagará la multa a razón de $200 al mes.
He has to do 240 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that is not a church and not a school.
Tendrá que hacer 240 horas de servicio comunitario en cualquier agencia sin fines de lucro que no sea una iglesia ni una escuela.
And he will do the community service at a minimum rate of 25 hours per month.
Y hará las horas de servicio comunitario a razón mínimo de 25 horas al mes.
Within 120 days of release, he must complete the risk reduction program,
Dentro de los primeros 120 días de haber salido de libertad, tendrá que completar el programa de reducción de riesgos,
attend 2 victim impact panels,
asistir 2 sesiones de víctimas de casos de manejar tomado,
and complete an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit to any treatment as required.
y completar una evaluación para detectar problemas de consumo de alcohol y droga y someterse a cualquier tratamiento que ellos recomiendan.
While he's on probation, he's not allowed to consume any illegal drugs and no alcohol.
Mientras está cumpliendo el plazo de libertad condicional, no debe consumir nada de drogas ilegales, tampoco alcohol.
He will be subject to random screens for alcoholic beverages.
Y será sujeto a pruebas de consumo de alcohol y drogas al azar.
Violation of any of these conditions can result in his probation being revoked.
Infringir cualquiera de esas condiciones puede resultar en la revocación de su libertad condicional,
Which means that he could end up spending the rest of the time in jail.
lo cual significa que podría terminar el resto del tiempo en la cárcel.
Any questions, Mr.
¿Alguna
Gonzalez?
¿Alguna pregunta, señor González?
Entonces, nomás, ¿cuándo saldría yo de acá?
Just when would I get out of here?
If you have no holds, then it should be within 24 hours.
Si no tiene ninguna otra orden que lo retiene, debe salir dentro de 24 horas.
And he reports to probation on Monday, December 30th before 3 p.m.
Y debe presentarse a la oficina de libertad condicional el lunes 30 de diciembre antes de las 3 de la tarde.
Thank you.
Gracias.
All right, Ms. Tolles, I think that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I need to stay on?
No, that
talk
was
with
it.
probation? That was it? Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
All right, courtroom 2, we have Cortez Ragland, position 33. Any chance?
No, there's no one else.
He was resetting.
I haven't been able to speak with Mr. Ragland yet, Your Honor.
He's been reset from what I understand. Yeah.
On the announcements, it stated he's resetting.
Yeah, Your Honor, this is the one I was asking about because the PDs announced it was a reset, but then Miss McLeod got on and said she was waiting to speak with him.
Okay. So, Ms. McLeod, there is a mix-up, and I'll let Ms. Kim explain it.
That's fine.
I'll be happy to call you quickly out and share.
I
my notes
represented
from
him
the
in an
past.
older case that he has that's still
Okay.
pending, and I realized he got arrested recently.
Okay, so if you and Ms. Kim would like to unravel any confusion, that would be great.
No
But
worries.
presently, my only question is, do you want me to reset it to January 2nd or January 7th?
Okay.
Ms. Kim? I had January 7th on the notes.
Yes, me too.
All right, then we'll keep it to January 7th.
Okay.
Note from Mr. Haddad from our office on Mr. Ragland says that we should keep Fulton County PD should represent Cortez Ragland.
Okay.
So
I'm happy with either side. I just want to make sure that the PDs are not improperly representing him. So if Mr. Haddad has done the research, then Ms. Kim, PD's office can continue. All right.
I'm okay with whatever the decision is, Your Honor. I just know that there's an older case that he has, of which I'm representing him. But this was a new arrest, so.
All right. Y'all talk, and I'll see y'all next week. Till then, I think I have a first appearance calendar coming up. So till then, the rest of you who don't get to come back to court, I'm so sorry, but you know.
Your Honor, there was also a competency. I had a client was on competency.
Okay.
Mr. Rocker.
Do we have a competency calendar today? Oh, we do, yeah. So let's go into a breakout for competency then. All right, everyone, take care.
And Judge Law,
Thank
on
you.
Mr. Ragland, Ms. McLeod, so they requested a conflict attorney on the July 11th SCA calendar, but now all of a sudden he's not a conflict for the rest of his cases? That doesn't make sense to me.
That's why I think Ms. Kim and Ms. McLeod need to talk. So they can actually go back and see the history. Because otherwise, if PD's office is improperly representing him, the conflict can be very damaging down the road. Mr. Jordan, could you place Ms. McLeod, who's going to be in competency? Ms. Desiano? Ms. Kim?
No, I'll be saying goodbye. Bye-bye. May I please be excused?
Who's doing competency today from PD's office? Mr. Bartel is not here.
No one's from PD's office, right?
It was just one case, Judge.
Oh, okay. All right.
Excuse me, Judge Long, I assume I should wait until y'all come back from competency, right?
No, we're good. That's the only calendar that we've got left. So Ms. Greenhouse, you're free to go.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye.
everyone, we are concluded. See everyone, I think I'll see everyone on Friday. So that means y'all enjoy today. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.